Hey everybody, Brian here. First things first, there is no new episode this week. We are unlocking an oldie and a greatie, just bear with me on this, called Shrimp Jesus and the Death of Facebook. We recorded this a while back when we were noticing that our Facebook feeds were being completely overrun by the somewhat new technology of AI-generated images. And we decided to look into both the trend and the kinds of pages that were running this content. How did they evolve over time, and how did Facebook evolve over time? This is part of, I guess now, a trilogy of episodes that we've done about Facebook and about Meta and about Mark Zuckerberg that include an episode about the movie The Social Network, which will be linked in the description, and our most recent episode about Horizon Worlds, which will also be linked in the description. In addition, Josh has done 2 interviews that we'll also link. One is with Jason Kebler talking about the Shrimp Jesus phenomenon, and the other is with Mike Isaac about what Meta is up to now and where Mark Zuckerberg sees the future of the company. Now, the reason we weren't able to record an episode this week is we did have one lined up with a cool guest and an insane topic, but AJ was going to be gone. He is gone. He's in Portland, Maine right now, opening his play Heart of Duckness with Fox Bramble Theater. If you are in the Portland, Maine area, you should go check this play out. It is a reimagining of the 19th century Berlin Conference for the colonization of Africa as depicted by ducks. It's an extremely AJ project, but it gets a lot darker than even what he tends to do on our show. So again, if you're in the Portland area, it's playing until September 4th. And again, link in the description. So he wasn't going to be there, but we did have this thing lined up, and then there were just too many little problems that kept happening before we got to recording time, and it rendered the episode undoable for this week. But on the plus side, we'll be able to do this with AJ a few weeks from now, which means that I get to torture him, and that's why you all listen to the show anyway. So, let's dig in. Shrimp Jesus and the Death of Facebook.
When is the last time that any of you actually logged on to Facebook?
Oh, today.
Yeah, no, I'm on it actually
Literally today.
Regularly.
Really?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I don't do anything, but I do kind of check in every day, yeah.
I check in every day, mostly because it is my sole communication device to contact Brian on. So I log in to chat with him there.
You know
That's
that
not
you could
on Facebook. That's
you could contact him you have his phone number.
I know, but it's honestly just habit at this point.
But you do it on in your browser on Facebook, not using the Messenger app?
I kind of do both. I do if I'm on the couch, I use the Messenger app.
It's a totally separate thing.
It's connected to Instagram too.
Hold on, AJ, you get on your computer. Yeah. And you type in www.facebook.com.
I'm sure he does not
like it's
type
fucking
it in, Josh.
2008
/ / I
mean, I have to wait for my modem to boot up, but it ties up the phone for hours, but it's always nice to know what my high school teacher is doing, namely dating their students.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the Worst of All Possible Worlds, the first and only podcast that ties up your phone line. I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
And I'm the worst of all possible Joshes. Well, this is an El Clasico episode, right? It's just the three of us.
It's a Clasico episode where we all take an L.
We've already cut 3 minutes that will never be heard by anyone.
Folks, we had some real bad ideas for the opening.
Truly awful ones. You could probably guess what they are.
And by I mean AJ.
But today we are here to dive deep into our past and unlock some cringe, Josh. And I believe this is your idea.
I've been wanting to do an episode for a while about the internet and internet culture. We do these every so often. What we haven't done before is talk specifically about the way that communication works through a specific platform. Before this, we've generally been doing case studies in pieces of media. So we did that episode where we talked about YouTube apology videos. And the way that sort of the apology is framed up in video format. But here I wanted to be even more, I don't know, close to the
teat.
I don't know. Try to play sociologist a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what I think it was Harlan Ellison had those essays about television called The Glass Teat.
Oh, yes.
And then he later made a follow-up called The Other Glass Teat.
And the glass teat that we are most interested in is, of course, the glass teats of Shrimp Jesus. And we're going to get there a little bit later on in this episode. We're going to talk about sort of the rise of bizarre AI art and the way that it's basically consumed Facebook as a platform.
Yeah.
But because this is the worst of all possible worlds, we have to start at the beginning by talking
Blame the
about
Bible.
what it was like to use Facebook in the year of our Lord, 2006.
Oh, is that a distant European boys choir I hear? Singing the greatest hits of Radiohead?
I'm a creep. Yes, we are covering the same territory that Aaron Sorkin famously covered in The Social Network. But unlike that, it involves the three of us.
Right.
Because we are delving into our own odyssey because we are ourselves Facebook users from the long distant past of 2006, Josh, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Brian, you came in a little bit later.
Not me. Yeah, I got on like MySpace.
Hell
yeah.
2006, 2007, and I feel like I was later to MySpace than most of my friends. And I was like, another fucking one of these things. I don't give a shit. And then when I was a senior, I found out that Facebook had instant messaging, which MySpace had, but it was like an opt-in thing that most people didn't opt into.
So that was when you were a senior in high school.
Yeah, when I was a senior in high school, 2009, because I'm younger than both of you.
By a whole year. Which honestly,
it matters to the Lord.
It also matters in terms of this particular time period, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even people that are very close to me in age, the things that we like experience media-wise can be completely different. Like ask somebody like, what do they watch on Nickelodeon, or what did they watch on Cartoon Network? What do they watch on Disney? And even people who are like 2 or 3 years apart will give you completely different answers.
That's the case both with media like on TV and stuff, and of course on the internet, because the internet was moving so fucking quickly at this point. To your point, Brian, like you got your start, I guess, with social media on MySpace. I was more of a Zanga kid. I don't know if you remember Zanga.
My sister was a Zanga kid. Yeah.
There were really two sort of social media blog platforms that people would use, either Zanga or LiveJournal. And generally speaking,
They're
was
basically
one
the same
or
thing.
the other. And they are basically the same thing. The big difference between them is just sort of the communities that tended to form within those platforms. And notably, LiveJournal is still around today, whereas Zanga is very much not.
I believe George R.R. Martin still uses LiveJournal.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of like what he's known for is still using LiveJournal, and I think he still writes all of his books on like a DOS PC that has no internet.
At that point, 2005, 2006, that was sort of the core of what social media was. It was synonymous with blogging. Blogging was, you would go onto the internet, you would type in a journal entry, you would post that journal entry to the web, and then people could comment on it, or in the case of Zanga, they could give you e-props. And the whole idea... Do you remember e-props, AJ?
I don't. But it's just like, how did this website fail? Well, let's look at the list and e-props. There it is. It's gone. It's immediately destroyed.
E-props, of course, could be very easily exchanged for Kool-Aid proofs of purchase,
E-ploids.
Shooty bucks.
Yep.
I mean, did they do anything? Were they like little
e-props?
E-props.
No.
Were they stickers that you could put up on your page?
No, it was literally
it was
like
a like.
it was a like. When you left a comment on somebody's post on Zanga, you could give them 0, 1, or 2 e-props. So like
what a
0
scale.
So 0 was like, this is shit actually, and I'm leaving a comment to rub salt in the wound. 1 e-prop was like, this is a replacement level post. 2 e-props is like, you fucking killed it.
I love that it's like the Michelin star. Like,
yes.
Yep.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that it is like likes because e-props were around long before likes existed on Facebook. Likes didn't come along for Facebook until 2009.
Yeah,
and we're
which
going
I
to talk a
had
bit
no
about that
idea.
later.
Yeah, because it is funny going back and looking at all my posts from like 2006 to 2009, and there's no likes, there's no comments on them. And actually, it doesn't look like I'm posting at all because I'm going to my friends' pages and posting there.
Yeah.
So what you get is a lot of one-sided conversations where people are just
Where it's the
communicating
other
with
person
you.
talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had this tick where I would sign all of my posts like I was writing a little email or a letter,
Were
right?
you on the forums, AJ? Were you on
No,
message boards?
I was never on message boards.
Oh,
I did.
wow.
I
Okay,
did.
If you
so you just
had-
have a disease then. Okay.
Well,
I know. I thought I was writing a letter.
No,
I
if
was
you'd
formal.
been on message boards, then people would have dragged your ass for signing your posts, and you would have learned to never actually do that.
Or,
Well,
or you
exactly,
would. I mean,
exactly.
but you have signatures on message boards, is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
but they,
Like,
they append automatically. You're not typing in, love AJ, which I guess you were on Facebook.
Nope. So much worse. So much more cringe. Oh boy, this episode.
Oh boy.
So when I was in third grade, my teacher was having a very rough day, I guess, and decided to put on a movie for us. And the movie he decided to put on was The Man in the Iron Mask, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
for
not
third
a movie,
graders?
For third graders, very not a movie that was meant for us. I think it was because there might have been a school shooting that was happening. Anyway, it was
In real life?
like
What?
there was like our school was
So
an
they just
open
didn't
school.
tell you, and they just had you watch. I mean,
That seemed to be the case.
we had that
because-
with a bomb threat in high school once, where they just rang the bell for a really long time. We stood outside like it was a fire drill, and then the superintendent came out and was like, "Go to lunch."
I think that happened to my school too one time. Now that I think about it.
Well, because what would happen was our school was an open school, so it was just like outside,
Oh, right,
and there were
yeah.
buildings, right? So people could like just wander the campus, and if a strange man wandered the campus, the whole school would go into lockdown, and you'd like put down the blinds or whatever. Like I feel like a lot of like people who went to school in the more recent years, like obviously know what an active shooter drill was, but we were having those when I was a kid too. It just wasn't to this extent. Like
There's a man named Tony Hawk. He was showing up and grinding some rails.
Here's the thing: he lived in Encinitas, which was 20 minutes from my middle school. So yeah. Anyway,
The man was a menace. He was doing manuals around all of the rooftops, and then it caused them to cave in, and it opened up a separate section of the school.
Every single bell at AJ's school destroyed because Tony Hawk would ride the wall and knock the bell right off of its
We're
hinges.
just finding VHS tapes everywhere.
He kept stealing all of our giant letters that were riddled about the school. But yeah, so we were watching The Man in the Iron Mask, and I was so bored. I was like, what is the way that I can make this thing funny to me? And I was like, what if the mask were fuzzy? So I made up this character
fucking way.
called The Man in the Fuzzy Mask.
Okay.
And if you look at all of my social media now, it's a variation of the Fuzzy Masked Man or the Fuzzy Mask. So when I would sign things on people's Facebook walls, it would not be as AJ. Oh no. It would be as the man in the blank mask. So I would take something in the comment above, something we were talking about,
that is very
and then
Zanga
translate
coded.
that
Okay.
into a mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh.
I had surprisingly a lot of friends.
Oh,
despite that.
Based on the Facebook posts that people were leaving on your wall in those early years, I can confirm that at the very least they were trying to be or appearing to be your friends in terms of social interaction online.
Friends and admirers.
But
Insane.
let's sort of move here from the blog era where the whole point was like you make a post, people respond to those posts, and generally speaking these are long form posts where you're saying, a bunch of things or blogging about your day or whatever, to Facebook. So Facebook was founded in February 2004 on the campus of Harvard University. And if you want to learn more about that, go watch The Social Network starring Jesse Eisenberg. But what ended up happening was it pretty quickly grew. It later ended up being available to all of the Ivy League universities, and then to all universities across the United States, and then all high schools across the United States. And once it became available to high schools, I signed up pretty quickly because I wanted to be an early adopter and see what this thing was all about.
Right.
So the first thing was the idea of a network. And in this context, a network is basically what is the overarching like affiliation or organization that you are a part of.
Yeah.
So originally, like the concept of a network existed for what school did you go to? And so you'd be in the fucking Harvard network, and then you can see how many other people were in the Harvard network that you were like connected to or whatever. And then they added additional networks eventually for things like what high school did you go to, what company did you work for, and stuff like that. And this concept, I think, has been completely deprecated from the platform now. I don't think you can even be in a network anymore.
Yeah, no, it's all just sort of the big worldwide one, I'd imagine. What started as very much a networking tool to get you like a place in like the wider like business world, then became a social like hub.
Yeah. Well, and that's what a Facebook is, right? That's an actual term for like recruitment and things like that, where you're going through like your binder full of women, much like Mitt Romney did.
Wow.
He had multiples of those. And you have pictures of, like headshots and whatever as you're going through like the Facebook of whatever. And,
I still have my dad's Facebook from Calvin. They called it the Bod Book.
Why did they do that?
I don't know, because you couldn't
Josh,
see
why
their
did they do
bodies.
that, Josh?
It was just their faces.
Because
It wasn't a bod book at all.
They had some real hot bods. That's what I'm learning.
The function of a Facebook, as broadly outlined, is that you can page through it and see who's hot, right? And then you can be like, oh, they're in that dorm. I should go hit them up so that we can go to the... What the fuck was the thing?
Box Social.
The point is that in its original incarnation, the way that profiles existed on Facebook were pretty much a place to put all of your interests. Because if people saw you on their school's Facebook and then clicked through to your profile based on your, picture, they could then see, oh, this person also likes badminton. I don't know why I use that as an example, but
very similar to MySpace, right?
Yeah.
Only with the network aspect added onto this, and also with MySpace, you could code your page like a web page. Add backgrounds, add design elements, change the way it looked. And
you could do that on Zanga too.
Okay, and with Facebook, no sir, it all fits in the template.
Right.
Yeah.
However, within the confines of that template, it was pretty customizable, especially once they started adding apps, and you could have here's a little box that has my favorite song in it and that sort of thing.
Sure.
It
Okay.
wasn't that way for very long.
Yeah.
But there was this brief period of time where you could make your Facebook profile as representative of yourself as you wanted it to be.
Right, and they stole that song thing from MySpace. Like the thing about MySpace,
I stole a lot of stuff from MySpace.
Yeah. Because MySpace made you rank your friends and choose a top 5,
top 8 or 4. It was all like multiples of 4. I think you could choose up to 24 to be in your top. That would appear right on your page when someone clicked on it.
Yeah, and you could also list your favorite albums. MySpace, the design of it was very appealing. I think especially for a high school kid. And Facebook felt like the cool new thing.
Yes.
I had MySpace for a very long time, and I used Zanga for a very long time. But Facebook seemed to sort of streamline everything I liked out of both of those things into one platform.
Well,
so I stopped using MySpace.
Facebook was also very sleek at the time. It was very the idea of Web 2.0, where we were moving away from static web pages and toward interactive web applications. Facebook was very much a dynamic and responsive web application that you could do a lot more with.
Yeah, Time Magazine put the shittiest mirror on their cover. They were like, do you see this vaguely reflective aluminum foil? That's you. You're the man of the year.
I used it to store my cheese in the fridge. Just wrapped it up in that.
You wrapped it up in the monitor that was the picture for the Time Magazine cover, AJ?
Yeah.
Your cheese?
Yeah.
The cheese that you saved?
Yeah. Me and my 5th grade cheese.
You were not okay. Fifth grade?
When was the cover? I thought it was when was it?
It was 2006.
All right, then my 16. My junior year cheese.
It was
Are
a
you happy
long
now?
5th grade.
It was a long. Really, I was in 4th grade and then 5th grade until college.
He kept getting flunked
And then I
because
was
he
in
couldn't
college.
remember the name of the man in the iron mask, which was the only thing his teacher would quiz them on.
Oh, sorry,
no.
God. Sorry.
Did you just get a poke, AJ?
Oh, God, I got
Oh.
another one. What's that all about, Josh?
Oh, well, maybe you received a feature of Facebook called the Poke. Do you remember Poke
Right,
Wars?
it was right under the.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was right under the lick. You could get a lick or a poke. That is.
But yes,
I'm not telling the truth here.
The Poke. We gotta mention the Poke.
Yeah.
Because
Is that still hidden somewhere? Like, can
you can still poke people.
Okay.
I'm gonna go see
you
if I can
gonna
poke you
poke
right
me?
now.
You
I'm gonna try.
motherfucker. Don't you
Let me see
dare.
real quick. I'm gonna go Brian Alford
Live
on
in the
Facebook.
Zencaster.
See if I can send you a poke here. Oh, I don't see a poke. There's gotta be a poke.
Yeah,
button.
hell yeah. No, you will
They're
never poke
fucking
me. You
messages.
will never,
He's
ever
unpokeable.
poke me.
He is unpokeable.
Can I poke you in
Even
chat?
by the time that I joined Facebook in 2009, the poke was antiquated and I didn't ever see anyone use it, really.
Okay.
Unless
It is-
they were doing it as like a weird ironic thing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's such the minute you think about it for more than 15 seconds, it's a weird thing to do to somebody
Yes.
on the internet or off the internet. So why would you make that like a core feature?
Well, it's a flirt. Because again, you have to think about this in the context of a college Facebook. You see a girl who's cute, you go on her, page. Maybe she doesn't know who you are. Maybe you don't even have the gumption to send her a friend request yet. But what you can do is you can send her a poke, and she can choose to reciprocate the poke or not. But like nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at the template for Facebook back at this time. Josh pulled up a screenshot of it, and it's showing this guy Wayne, and it says view more photos of Wayne. Read notes by Wayne. That's the old blog setup that it had.
Yeah.
Jump at a fountain of Wayne.
View all of Wayne's friends. Send Wayne a message. View message history. And then it just says, poke him! With an exclamation. Everything else has his name, or it's like
It's so
really vague,
aggressive.
like report this person. But then it's like, it's gender only, exclamation point.
Poke him! Do it!
I just imagine people going around bars before Facebook, just being like approaching people they think are attractive and just going poke.
By the
like,
way,
right in the goddamn ribs.
Brian, go on Facebook and check your notifications real quick.
Josh, if you've done something to me, I swear to Christ.
Yeah.
He is unpokeable.
Just take a look. Take a
You
look at
son of a bitch!
It turns out that
Josh
you can.
Borman poked you!
Here's the current.
I've remained unpoked.
Well, now
gonna
with that
poke you
fucking
back,
attitude.
dude.
No, oh
Wait,
God!
now I have suggested pokes. It's telling me to poke people.
Wait, so what does that
It's
mean?
like a whole hidden page. I'm poking you, Josh. Yeah, I've
Okay,
got a
thank you, Brian.
former coworker here.
Uh-huh.
I've got my girlfriend. I've got.
Oh
okay.
God damn it! He poked me too.
So the current poke
You both
interface
poked me!
We
is
both
actually
poked you, bitch.
it's an entire separate dialogue that you can only access by going to the search bar and searching for pokes. And once you do that, you will get to the poke interface in which you can poke as many people as you want, as frequently as you want, and as AJ mentioned, many of these are suggested. Or did Brian mention that? You mentioned that, right, Brian?
It doesn't matter. We all sound the same. So,
But I think the thing that makes this stuff interesting to me is that at its base, when they were just hacking the thing together from the beginning, there was room for these like weird little Easter eggs and
Yeah.
just features that were just kind of fun for the sake of being fun.
Yeah,
It was on some level a pretty quirky platform, and it was fun to use in a way that it is not fun to use now.
Yeah,
No.
now you'd have to pay for 50 pokes.
Exactly.
like,
And then you'd have to pay for any subsequent 50 pokes.
well, and even just like, not just if they had started it now, it would be like this, but things that have changed is like when I would log into Facebook and have notifications, it was because someone interacted with me in some way. Now, when I get a notification on Facebook, it's like, oh, someone posted in the medium format cameras page. Someone posted on Albuquerque Memories. Hey, here's some bullshit page that you might want to follow. Oh, here's some things from a group that you follow ironically that's full of Adventures and Odyssey fans. Like, I don't want to, I don't care. Like, I can go to that group, I can go to that page and see what the new posts are. I want notifications to just be like someone did something that involves you directly.
Right. And the reason that exists in that way, and we'll talk about this a little later on, is that in order to keep people using the platform, Facebook has to keep you actively engaged. But the quality of actual engagement in terms of people using the platform has been steadily decreasing over the course of the past decade plus.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the official Playwrights of Facebook right now, which is a group that famously, Brian, you got kicked out of,
Yeah,
right?
I got kicked out of it, yeah.
It is a private group. It has 13,700 members. Josh, you are one of them.
Oh,
so
I am still in it.
congratulations,
Okay.
you're
Thank
still
you.
in it. But the number of accounts that I'm looking at on here of people who I know just aren't on Facebook anymore, or theater companies that have gone under, like most of Facebook feels like ghost ships at this point. A place to store photos from your high school and college years because you don't want to download them onto an external hard drive.
Well, and, to the point of those photos, that was another really big hook of the platform in its original configuration as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, like, if you had a halfway decent party, everybody would be posting the pictures to Facebook the next day, tagging in their friends, because there was also a FOMO piece to it where it was like you wanted to show, in the same way that still happens now on Instagram and other platforms, that you were there, that you were at the thing, that you were in the know, that you were connected. There was this strong real world component that interacted with the virtual component of the social network. And it was the interaction between those two things that made it so sticky.
Well, and I've talked about like the social aspect of pictures and kind of how it changes and the way that we use pictures in our social relationships. I think back when we talked about How I Met Your Mother, because that is perfectly emphasized by the opening credits of How I Met Your Mother, with the digital photos taken of them all hanging out at the bar. That's just a Facebook album is what that is. Now that has migrated over to Instagram, which is, the same company.
It wasn't always, but they became.
But it's also more curated now. Back then, it was you fucking around with your friends. And I remember when it started to become like a news item to be like, oh, yeah, potential employers could see you binge drinking with your college friends on the internet. And now, it's so much more like get the lighting correct, or like show just the best side of yourself instead of just dumping every single picture you took that night, including of everyone vomiting and shitting on the driveway or whatever.
But there wasn't that curation, and what it did was it still maintained it as like a social platform where it wasn't about selling you anything. It wasn't about making yourself into a brand. It was about sharing stuff with close friends of yours. And now, obviously, that would eventually lead to curation as people got better lighting and people realized they could use this to like monetize themselves. But I mean, God, I am very nostalgic for the days where it was just like everyone's shit was just there, right?
This was before everybody had a camera on their phone. In many cases, what you'd be doing is you'd be using your physical point and shoot digital camera. You would be downloading all of the pictures from that camera onto your computer, and then you'd just be uploading a folder full of JPEGs.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a time. What a perfect time. Nothing could
ever
ever go
wrong. A while
wrong.
too. Nothing.
No.
How could this system ever be exploited?
Other features that I should mention as well, events, which, by the way, went hand in hand very nicely with photos, because you could have an event, you could schedule it and invite people through Facebook, and then after the event, people could post their photos of that event.
And actually, we will talk about events later on this episode, because I've got some doozies there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There were also notes, because again, this was the era of blogging, so you could go and you could post a note, and much like a blog post on Xanga, you could receive comments, but unlike a post on Xanga, you could not receive e-props. Finally, there were groups. These were basically like, you could come up with a group called like, I don't know, Josh's Fun After School Study Club. And then everybody could go in and they could like share their notes in a class, like to use a very academic example. Okay. Or like, I remember there was one that was like, there was like a group that advocated speeding down the East Beltline of Grand Rapids at 100 miles an hour. So just stuff like that. Dumb shithead kids doing dumb shithead kid things, but you could join these groups, and then again, to the point of like how you could find a network or a community, you could just post something to this group, everybody in that group would basically see it and they could respond as well. So there were ways that you could actually organize real conversations and real communities through these groups.
And I will just say a quick defense of Notes. I could not let go of MySpace for a very long time. I could not let go of my Zanga for a very long time. So when Notes came to Facebook, I was like, okay, I'm in. And I stayed in for a lot longer than I think most people did for Notes. Now they're gone. They're entirely obliterated from the internet. I can't find them anywhere on Facebook.
I can find my notes.
I think mine just kind of got lost to the wind.
I mean, this also might be a good opportunity to point up the fact that you can still download a full copy of all of your data from Facebook. But I tried to queue up my download of all my data like a couple days ago, and it still hasn't processed. So I don't know how well that actually works anymore, because probably there's big issues with the data that are causing some sort of a hang-up that they can't diagnose because nobody fucking pays attention to their legacy infrastructure. So anyway, that is Facebook as it exists sort of in its initial incarnation. And the other really big thing that I wanted to point out is that in the earliest stage of the platform, almost all communication, except for the stuff going on in groups, is one-to-one. If I make a post on your wall, you will see that you've received a post on your wall, but other people aren't going to see that I made that post on your wall unless they also go to your wall to look at the posts that are on it. There's no mechanism through which they can receive notifications or updates about what is going on with other people. What I would like to do now is tell the story of the growth of Facebook as witnessed by 3 young men.
And I agree.
We're the weirdos.
The date is September 19, 2006.
What the hell are we doing here?
Josh Borman makes his first post on Facebook.
Yeah.
It is a note. It is linking to a then recent Dateline NBC special about Amway.
Pro or con?
Very con, as always, relentlessly on brand.
The lying media always in opposition to American way, the American way, freedom, commerce. They don't like it when people lift themselves out of poverty. You know.
No, I am aggressively pro Dateline NBC.
Josh
aggressively
is pro
anti
lying
Amway.
media. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
5 days later, Josh receives beginning posts on his wall, on my wall. I'm Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I'm Brian.
Hi, Brian.
I'm AJ.
So I guess you guys can, this is 3 different posts. You guys can go back and forth on these, and you can do goofy voices or whatever it is that you want.
I met your mom yesterday at Kix.
Yes, I agree, but I like them without the T. Yucky tomatoes. Give me extra bacon and tons of mayo and stick some provolone on it and melt/toast it. Now I'm hungry.
If you were killed tomorrow, I wouldn't go to your funeral, because I'd be in jail for killing the dick that killed you.
ASCII picture of a gun with a semi-frowny face in the middle of it.
We true homies. We ride together. We die together. Send this gun to everyone you care about, including me if you care. See how many times you get this. If you get 13, you a true homie.
This is what the wall was like.
It was a wonder wall.
It wasn't just so wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know. By the way, just to be very clear, I don't know what Kix is. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's a shoe store.
It's gotta be,
that makes
right?
sense.
Like how Lids sells hats.
I just don't know
Right.
why it's in quotes. Like, it feels like it's a secret place that only you, your mother, and this strange person know about.
The second post, obviously, just talking about the best sandwich.
So I'm assuming that when they say I like them without the T, they're talking about BLTs. They
Yes,
just want
they're
a
just
bacon
BLs,
lettuce.
I guess?
Yeah. Give me a BL.
It's the most Michigan shit I've ever heard in my life. Give me bacon and extra mayo and lettuce, and that's my sandwich.
But also stick some
Jesus
provolone
Christ.
on it. This is just a new sandwich now. Like,
this is not,
we've
and
we've
melt
introduced
toast it.
Yeah, we've introduced
okay, there you
cheese.
go.
Like this is not
This is a grilled cheese.
a brand
You've
new
done a
sandwich
grilled
entirely.
cheese
yeah.
with bacon.
It's an entirely different kind of sandwich altogether.
One thing we can all
It's an
agree
entirely
on,
different kind of sandwich.
AJ fucked it again. It's fine.
I got it, but I got it at the end there. Look, regardless how we feel, I think we can all agree, now I'm hungry.
Yes,
I think
agreed.
that we could all agree that if you were killed tomorrow, I wouldn't go to your funeral because I'd be in jail for killing the dick that killed you.
Yeah, same.
That is an extremely MySpace post.
It is.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
On a wider level, September 2006 was, an interesting time to be joining the platform because this was also when they introduced a new concept called the news feed. Unlike before, where you could only ever see what people were posting on your shit, now when you went to the homepage, there would be this list of updates from all over your social network. So, if Brian commented on somebody's photo from a party, even if I didn't know the person hosting that party, I still might see that photo and comment in my feed. And at the time, this was a fucking insane idea.
This destroyed lives.
Yes.
Truly. And, people talk about how, our privacies online got slowly whittled away over time, or we were the frog in the boiling water that didn't feel it, until we were boiled alive. But the truth is, we were sitting in cold water, and then all of a sudden, it was like we were boiling alive, overnight, because of the introduction of this news feed.
Yes.
The privacy was almost immediately evaporated.
It was really unclear just what kind of actions would show up on other people's news feeds.
Yeah, because there were no privacy settings that would restrict anything from showing up anywhere.
So you could expect, okay, yeah, I talked on someone's wall, that kind of shows up everywhere. I made a status that shows up everywhere. But liking something, I think there were even points where if you just clicked on a page, that would show up in someone else's news feed. This led to some hilarious misunderstandings.
Yeah. People were fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And Mark Zuckerberg took to the Facebook blog later that day. And this is what he said.
We've been getting a lot of feedback about mini feed and news feed. We think they are great products, but we know that many of you are not immediate fans and have found them overwhelming and cluttered. Other people are concerned that non-friends can see too much about them. We are listening to all your suggestions about how to improve the product. It's brand new and still evolving. We're not oblivious.
This is a really, really good Zuck, by the way, Brian. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Can we get a melodica cover of Creep behind this?
We're not oblivious about Facebook groups popping up about this. By the way, Ruchi is not the devil.
Remind me of who Ruchi is?
The product manager who made the post introducing the feed.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
And we agree, stalking isn't cool. But being able to know what's going on in your friends' lives is.
That's so funny.
Oh my God, that is so fucked.
That's such a funny thing to say.
This is information people use to dig for on a daily basis, nicely reorganized and summarized so people can learn about the people they care about. You don't miss the photo album about your friend's trip to Nepal. Maybe if your friends are all going to a party, you want to know, so you can go too.
Invite yourself? I mean,
Facebook is about real connections to actual friends. So the stories coming in are of interest to the people receiving them, since they are significant to the person creating them. We didn't take away any privacy options.
thank God.
Your privacy options remain the same. Privacy rules haven't changed. None of your information is visible to anyone who couldn't see it before the changes.
Not exactly true.
If you turned off your wall to non-friends, no one who is not your friend will be able to see a post on your wall.
Wall posts weren't the only thing that people were worried about.
Your friends can still see it. It hasn't changed. Secret groups and secret events remain secret from other people. Pokes and messages remain as private interactions. Nothing you do is being broadcast. Rather, it is being shared with people who care about what you do, your friends. We are going to continue to improve Facebook, and we want you to be a part of that process. Test out the products and continue to provide us feedback.
Use your privacy settings so you can feel most comfortable using this site. We hear you, and we appreciate the feedback. Stay tuned, Mark.
So what's so interesting about it is reading this actual like text from Mark Zuckerberg. You can immediately clock where Sorkin got the idea that maybe this man doesn't quite understand what human interaction
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
And
Because-
not
yeah.
just that he doesn't understand what human interaction is, but also that like what he is sort of saying doesn't really align with what he's trying to do. That there's a
Yeah.
certain duplicitousness to the communication and a certain unreliability to the narrator.
Yeah. He's not really revealing that this is all part of the grand master scheme of Justin Timberlake to go on the world tour.
Right.
That definitely will not
They're
get
gonna
ruined.
have to cancel that. It's gonna get ruined, Brian.
It's fascinating. I mean, I love that his picture, the party thing sticks with me so much because he makes it sound like it's not like you're going to see an event that maybe someone has forgotten to invite you to or something. It's while your friends are currently uploading their pictures of the party, you can be like, ooh, I better make my way over to Dave's house, even though I was not invited. I'm seeing some very blurry pictures of lots of diarrhea and vomit, and I'm going to get in on that action.
What does this really tell us about the real idea behind this platform? Like, what are they really trying to do here?
It must be to keep people's eyes on the page, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're
Yeah.
I didn't go to MySpace because like I had, I don't know, like a handful of friends that I had friended on there. And if I wanted to see something about them, I'd have to go search it out. And it's like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm clicking on someone's page because I'm going to leave a message for them.
Right.
And then maybe I'll incidentally see something that they said. But here, Facebook is like, no, we're going to help you keep up to date on everybody going on. And now you kind of have this thing. You can like, now it's a glass teat. Now it is not just a page that you go to and do whatever action you need to take. It's a page where things happen that you don't have. You can lurk. You can lurk on it like you do with a message board.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Stalking isn't cool.
No, it's not.
You know
But
what is cool?
Skateboard. So he actually, Zuckerberg makes a follow-up post there 3 days later, and he has a more diplomatic tone. He announces that they are going to be releasing new privacy controls, which I guess they've just been working on nonstop for the past 72 hours.
And no longer.
And
Never again.
Here's the sort of key phrase that he says that is sort of his vision for what Facebook ought to be.
I wanted to create an environment where people could share whatever information they wanted, but also have control over whom they shared that information with. I think a lot of the success we've seen is because of these basic principles.
Now,
You know what I like to do with principles? Set them on fire.
the idea that Facebook cares about your privacy is self-evidently facile when you look at the controversies that they've had. I mean,
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones, and this goes back to what you were saying, Brian, about how like sometimes shit would just randomly pull into your feed because of something you did somewhere else.
Yeah.
They introduced a product called Beacon that using tracking cookies would track purchases that you were making elsewhere on the web. It would pull those purchases back into Facebook and without your consent would then send notifications to your friends.
Notifications?
Yes. So it'd be like, Brian just bought a fucking dildo. And would you like
It
to
was
buy
always
one
a
of these as
dildo.
well?
They never tell your friends about the tiny dildos. No, you need at least an 18-incher.
Why are you buying tiny dildos?
And it's a really fun follow-up to that, too. In 2011, they had to settle with the Federal Trade Commission because it turned out that third-party applications using the Facebook developer framework could access all of your data.
Yeah, well, the API used to be super open, and I remember that with various apps. You know, you could. Everyone played Farkle for a while on Facebook, but like,
What is Farkle?
it's a Yahtzee.
Oh, okay.
Something, or it's similar to Yahtzee. I don't know if it's the
Like
same
a similar
as
nonsense
Yahtzee.
word, Farkle.
Yeah. But there
what I call
were
a
other
pencil.
things that like they would link out, like quizzes. You know, this laid the groundwork for like BuzzFeed type quizzes where it was like, oh yeah, take a quiz and then it'll automatically post to your page how your quiz turned out. And then
Right.
you find out that, in the world of Batman, which guy are you? And then it's like, Calendar Man.
I also remember there were quizzes where it was like you could join the thing and then it would be like, do people think that Josh has
Yes.
pretty eyes? Yes or no?
You could answer questions, be like, do you think this person is hot? And then it would
Right.
give that person a notification that says somebody thinks you're
Right.
hot. And then you could go over to that quiz and uncover a couple of answers. And then if you paid money, you could uncover more. Or if you like did other things based, like reposted to your Facebook page, or like all that classic like old flash ad kind of scammy stuff.
When they were building the platform that allowed for these sorts of applications, Facebook was paying no heed whatsoever to like, hey, should we make sure that maybe like people give permission to share their entire list of friends and their location and their wall and their, but no, it could all just be freely accessed. And there was nothing getting in the way of an application, just harvesting data off the back of something like that.
There was a website that you could go to where you could just type in the search bar and it would show every Facebook status and wall post that had those words in it. So, news agencies and reporters would use it all the time to be like, people are really talking about the Super Bowl today, the day of the Super Bowl. And then they just type in like Super Bowl on that big search bar. And it would, again, show everybody's posts about Super Bowl.
And then Twitter would take that, and just make it to the trending thing.
Sure,
right?
But the big difference there is that with Facebook, the search gave you an unprecedented amount of granularity, and it allowed you to do some stuff you probably shouldn't have been able to do. Like, you could go and you could say, like, who are all of the, girls born between the years 1990 and 1992 who go to high schools near me?
Wow.
Yeah.
And so again, when you have that thing of like stalking isn't cool, all of a sudden you start seeing that like it's not just a fundamental misunderstanding of the problem.
Yes.
Right? It's not that it's like one creepy guy, like the neighborhood watch guy, the little shadow man with like the knapsack over his shoulder or whatever, and the trench coat and the hat.
I don't think the neighborhood watch trench coat guy has a bindle.
No, the guy just he's got a trench coat and like a Carmen Sandiego hat.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Maybe a nightmare I had. But there was a point where
the Bindle Man comes to San Diego but once a year.
Be careful, I'll put you in his bindle.
AJ
Take
wakes
you along
up,
the Continental Railroad.
just like screaming, runs up to his parents. The Bindle Man is out to get me again.
And my dad's like, who can take your money?
He's
Throw
known
you in his sack.
He's known as the El Cajon Krampus.
It's like, it's not that, right? It's not the caricature of it. It's about these fucking creeps who can
Yes.
go and then search for like the amount of high school girls that are in a certain area.
Creeps and
right?
weirdos who do not belong there.
They don't. Get them out.
Well, and that was part of the thing that they were like controlling for, is like, oh, you had to be part of a network, but that didn't mean anything. Like when I joined, my school did not have like a network, whatever, beacon or whatever the fuck. So I just joined as part of the Farmington, New Mexico network, which is a town that's very far away from my town.
I remember there was a period where, like, in order to join a high school network, you actually did have to get confirmation of like 2 other people that you were, in fact, in that high school. But obviously, as the networks got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you knew less and less about who was in it. And then I think eventually they just gave up that requirement entirely.
Yeah, because they needed everyone on Earth to join.
Which is the point. It needs to be the global social network.
I think it's this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's so interesting how that stuff about like the scam about revealing the people who like you, that's just the basis of every dating app now.
Yeah.
Right? All this stuff was born from Facebook.
There were dating apps that started just by pulling from the Facebook API that were like, oh yeah, fuck your Facebook friends. Hinge began this way. And now Facebook has tried to catch up to those dating apps by also just introducing its own dating app within Facebook. There is now just Facebook dating.
No, thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
For now, I want to focus on sort of where Facebook goes from here.
Yeah.
Because now they found their secret sauce, which is the feed, the news feed. You're going to be seeing stuff pop in, and that's giving you a reason to come back. In October 2006, someone makes the first post on AJ's wall.
Oh, Jesus.
Woo! AJ has a Facebook. Well, the only reason I'm excited for school is because we have 3 classes together. Yeah, more fun in math and English. Just try not to spontaneously combust. Emoticon that is smiling.
You ever go back through your old Facebook and are like, wow, there were a lot of people very clearly flirting with me.
Did you not realize that she was
Not
flirting
a
with
clue.
you?
Not a clue. We were friends for most of high school, and I never had any idea. And it's so weird that I can't see my reply.
Yeah, well,
I have no idea how that went.
Is there no wall to wall? Because there used to be like a page where you could see wall to wall.
You could see friendship, but it
conversation.
starts crashing.
Okay.
When you start going back too many years.
Sure. Well, and I think too that like the underlying data model has shifted a number of times because for a long time it was just post on somebody else's wall, they post on your wall. Then you could start liking posts. Then you could start commenting on posts. Then you could start liking comments. Then you could start reacting, which we'll talk about later.
You could reply to comments.
Right. So there's just the way that these things are stored in the underlying data has changed so many times. And I think the tables are fucked.
Yeah.
I think they're actually fucked. I think that a lot of this data is simply unrecoverable at this point, which is great. I love it. Anyway.
Honestly, and maybe for the best in a lot of cases.
So moving forward, in November 2007, a year and change after AJ has joined Facebook, people are posting photographs of Josh's appearance in his high school production of Beauty and the Beast.
And here's a picture of Josh, and he's looking old, perhaps crazy and old.
Crazy old Maurice, you say.
Crazy old Maurice.
By the way, I
love a little vest.
I'm here next to my friend Tony Diddy. Or sorry, Tony Didda. Not to be confused with your father, AJ, Tony Diddy.
Although, Tony also looks like he could be AJ. If AJ just cut his hair short.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, especially because there's a picture of me right underneath him, and it's like, uh-oh, we're brothers.
I just needed to point up for the sake of my own ego that my performance in Beauty and the Beast was met with some acclaim.
Dude, you're amazing in the play. Josh is a hot stud, to say the least. Yeah, you ever realize that somebody might have been flirting with you?
This was, I think, actually not a flirt. I think this was just like bros, gassing each other up in a bro way.
There's never ever been any.
Josh.
He
called you
Hotata.
I'll have to give him a call and see what he's up to these days. Alongside the acclaim, however, I was also receiving admonitions.
Oh, no.
Josh, don't join the group BAMFs. Even though you truly are a badass, do not flaunt it. People who are in that group and truly believe themselves to be BAMFs are very, very mistaken. Just letting you know.
You were high school friends with Drill?
This is actually my friend Joe, who is the best man at my wedding.
Oh.
Was this a good call? Was it good for you not to join the BAMFs?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he was spitting here.
We got to get you a hat that says BAMF on it.
So as this was happening in the great state of Michigan, AJ Diddy goes to New York City to audition for New York University and has a photo taken of him while he holds a glass bottle of Coca-Cola. Now, Brian, can you just sort of describe this image?
AJ's holding a glass bottle of Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. He looks kind of like Josh's friend Tony Didda.
I mean this in the best way possible. I have never looked more French.
Yeah. No, you do.
In
You
my
do
whole
look
life.
vaguely European, probably because you are lifting one eyebrow, the eyebrow that is on the same side of your body as the glass bottle of Coca-Cola.
You are wearing a red hoodie, but it's draping on your body like a scarf, and that's very much contributing to the Frenchness of the appearance.
and a big like blue jacket on top of that. You also have a glass in front of you with a straw and a lemon wedge that I can only assume also held Coca-Cola.
I poured it into that, yeah.
I believe that this is a somewhat ironic holding of Coca-Cola. More like a, I don't know what to do with my hands while my father takes this picture of me because he is so proud of me for going all the way to New York and auditioning for NYU.
Oh, man, I thought I had bombed that audition, too. Jesus Christ.
They let anyone in. It's okay.
That's true. That is true.
Some sample things, by the way, that people are asking or telling AJ at this time are as follows.
Oh, boy.
So, You've moved on from Buddha to Wiccan?
I just need to say that Buddha and Wiccan are both horrifically misspelled, and
correct.
I won't tell you how.
Oh! And who's the lucky complicated girl? Ha ha. Ah, you're in New York. Break a leg at auditions. Call me the min you get back and tell me everything, and we have to hang out. 2 exclamation points. AJ, I think this girl had a thing for you.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who the. God, I actually, Josh, I don't know who this was.
Let's see what else we got here. Brian, go for it.
Hopes like hell, yo, get into NYU.
I don't. It's so funny. I don't remember who any of these people are. You did not put the names with this, so I'm. This is going in
Don't
blind.
worry, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
Great.
Final one I have here is
Yeah.
AJ! Are you alive?
I am now.
I heard Satan opened a portal to hell in California and has been burning everything. You still intact?
Okay, I just want to take a moment
Yeah.
to emphasize here. This was 2007.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that this person is referring to is that San Diego was engulfed in a firestorm. Many of my friends lost their homes
Sure.
in like this horrific hellscape. I had to we had to evacuate our house, and when I was driving down the road, I looked up and the moon was blood red and the entire mountainside was on fire. I get to our evacuation zone. I open up my computer and I read that message.
Wait, so you actually remember this?
Yes, I remember this exact message.
Wow.
I like that he spelled hell with 1 L,
Yeah.
and that
And
he
I
asked
also
you
like that-
if you were circumcised or not at the end.
Well, I like that intact is 2 words.
Obviously,
I was very untactful.
yeah, obviously this guy is very out of tact.
But so this was a genuine question, actually. I had
Yeah.
no idea what the context was there. That's wild.
Yeah. So it was one of the fires. There were 2 while I was in high school, 2 years apart, and the 2007 one was particularly brutal.
Well, Portal to Hell having been closed,
Yes.
or at least I assume it was closed around that
Thank
time
you, Dr.
eventually.
Strange. Yes.
On November 6, 2007, Facebook introduces its new social ad platform called Facebook Ads. This is in tandem with a brand new concept called Pages. And Leah Pearlman, a product manager at Facebook, writes this blog post introducing the feature.
Engaging with businesses and buying things are a part of your everyday life. Advertising doesn't have to be about interrupting what you're doing, but getting the right information about the purchases you make when you want it. We believe we've created a system where ads are more relevant and actually enhance Facebook. You now have a way to connect with things you are passionate about. We've launched Facebook Pages, which are distinct, customized profiles designed for businesses, bands, celebrities, and more to represent themselves on Facebook.
And more?
And more. Podcasters. Ads will be getting more relevant and more interesting to you.
Finally!
Instead of random messages from advertisers, we've launched social ads. Social ads provide advertisements alongside related actions your friends have taken on the site, like buying an 18-inch dildo. These actions may be things like, Leah is now a fan of The Offspring, if I added The Offspring to my music. Or Justin wrote a review for Sushi Hut, if Justin wrote this review on the Sushi Hut page. These actions could then be paired with an ad that either The Offspring or Sushi Hut provides.
But this is it, right? This is it. Now it is so clear. Like this is their entire actual product. This is the monetization strategy. You get people to interact with their favorite brands through the site, and then the site will provide advertisements that basically further that engagement loop.
They finally hit what Sean Parker wanted them to hit. They got they have their captive audience now. Which has really no other means of reaching people electronically, right? Like nothing has the same capabilities as Facebook for reaching
Not
people.
in this targeted of a way, absolutely not. I mean, Google AdWords does do some, tracking with cookies and targeting. But
I just mean for people to reach people.
Oh, sure.
And then you have this social network that has actually managed to keep up the social aspect of it.
Yes.
For now. And people and that is a need that is not fulfilled by other websites.
Right.
So people aren't going to jump ship and go somewhere else, like Google Plus or whatever all those other sites
or
are.
Google Wave.
Google Wave. And so like you have this audience that, because it's not going to go away anytime soon, you have and because you have honed it on the news feed, you have honed it on what keeps people's attention. Now you can bring in the advertisers and bring in just unbelievable amounts of revenue.
And that's exactly what happens. It only takes 2 years from this point for Facebook to become a cash flow positive business. Along with that, along with the secret sauce, they figured out one weird trick. And on January 1, 2009, Brian Alford joins Facebook. He is not the one weird trick I just wanted to throw out. 6 weeks later, on February 12, 2009, Brian proudly states the following.
Brian Alford is way behind on his work.
On the same day, Facebook introduces the like button.
Coincidence?
The same day?
The same day.
I don't know if I knew that when I made that post.
You were way behind on your work, but you know who wasn't? Leah Pearlman, the same product manager who introduced Facebook ads.
Yeah, and she introduces the concept of likes.
Yeah.
The following post.
You want to read it, AJ?
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a lot of content my friends have shared on Facebook that's pretty awesome. For instance, in the last few days, I've seen photos from a friend's wedding, an article about U.S. President Obama's ongoing transition.
Good for her.
And status updates from a friend traveling in India. We've just introduced an easy way to tell friends that you like what they're sharing on Facebook with one easy click. Wherever you can add a comment on your friend's content, you'll also have the option to click like to tell your friends exactly that. I like this.
Yeah?
That's obviously. Recently, I had a friend write a note about running her first marathon, and another friend upload pictures of his new baby. In both cases, they ended up with over 30 comments, all saying, awesome, congrats. This feels like, to me, it's like, have you ever tried to open your milk?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Has this ever happened to you? You have a fucking baby, and the replies are full of assholes saying stuff like, wow, congrats.
And it's got the Hanna-Barbera, like, Fred Flintstone running, like, sound effect under it. The aggregation of the sentiment, I like this, makes room in the comment section for longer accolades. That is so fascinating, and put a pin in that. This is similar to how you might rate a restaurant on a review site. If you go to the restaurant,
1 or 2.
if you go to the restaurant and have a great time, you may want to rate it 5 stars.
No. I would rate it 2 E-props.
But if you had a particularly delicious dish there and want to rave about it, you can write a review detailing what you liked about the restaurant. We think of the new like feature to be the stars and the comments to be the review. Your friends and their photos, notes, statuses, and more are what make Facebook great. When your friends share something great, let them know you like it.
2 weeks later, on February 25, 2009, AJ Diddy makes a bold proclamation to his Facebook wall.
AJ Diddy will probably never tell the truth again.
Nobody likes this post.
No one likes the post.
One person asks why, but AJ declines to respond. The very next day, February 26, 2009, Josh posts a list of his most anticipated albums of the year, such as Telephone Tel Aviv's Immolate Yourself, Phoenix's Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix, and Health's Get Color. One person likes this note.
We gotta like!
It's so interesting, this idea of like, how fucking annoying is it to have a whole bunch of people saying congrats when they could just be clicking a button that says like.
But when you have a baby on Facebook, people still all just say congrats. And they like
This
it.
isn't doing what she says it's doing.
No.
No. What they were actually seeming to anticipating, I assume, is that people would write whole paragraphs and things underneath posts.
No, that is not what they were anticipating. That's what they said they were anticipating. What
Right,
they're
right,
doing
right.
is making it way, 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 way easier to engage.
Yeah.
And that provides them
scroll.
with an additional data point. And yes, it facilitates the scrolling process. No longer is a user taking a moment to actually type a thought. They're clicking like and they're moving on.
Well, and to the point of pages earlier, right? It's like, well, what is a page on Facebook? It's not the user's page. It's not going to your friend. That's not a page. That's going to your friend.
That's a
A
profile.
page is a thing that you are not friends with that you can like and then potentially follow so that you get like
Right.
notifications when it makes posts or something. But it can also just be
Yeah, there were multiple steps. to
something that
yeah.
you like. So if it's like Brian Alford liked the page hot men in jeans and nothing else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then that
yeah.
means okay, everyone sees it. Not that I was gonna know.
A bunch of people going on your wall. Hey, Brian, how about those hot men in jeans, huh?
Two, I'm gonna get a bunch of ads for Dickies.
Yeah, and Brian the next day will post a post that said, Brian Alford will never tell the truth again.
I didn't. You said that.
About those hot
I was
men in
way
their
behind on my
jeans.
work.
men's
We
the-
should also
on
say,
their
why are
jeans.
these statuses in the third person? And it's because
Yes.
Facebook statuses used to be on one line. So it would start with the name, and then when you clicked in the box, it would automatically insert is. So that it was a complete sentence. Brian Alford is doing blah, blah, blah. Later, they changed it so that the status is on the next line down from your name, and they got rid of the is.
Yeah.
So now you start the sentence however you want to start it.
But the whole
Right.
point of status updates originally was that was the way that you would get people to go to your profile before there was a news feed.
It was-
because you could post a status update
Yeah.
and that status update would show up on other
It
people's
was an update of your
pages, but-
status. This is
Right.
what people used to do on AOL Instant Messenger. You know,
Right.
you had your
Yeah.
away message, or you'd have people see your status whether you were online or offline.
Hey, remember when we could be away from the computer?
No.
Wasn't that wild that you could put up an away message and then just leave?
Yeah, I'm glad we fixed it.
I mean, it's crazy to me to think that the like as a concept has
Yeah.
only existed for 15 years. It is such a ubiquitous part of our lives in every
Yeah.
single conceivable way. It is the currency through which our entire web presences are evaluated. But
Yeah.
more than 15 years ago, it did not exist.
I mean, it's what's fascinating to me is that likes were not around at the beginning of Facebook. That's something that my brain had completely forgotten because it is so ubiquitous, like what that website is, right? Because then that permeates out to every single other social media from then on out, right? Now, you know, Twitter has its hearts. I'm assuming Blue Sky has something, but I've never.
yeah, Blue Sky has likes.
they're all
every time-
generally just likes, you know.
And
wherever-
they're generally hearts.
Yeah.
But Facebook is, again, the
got the
iconic thumb up
Yeah.
because that shit is copyrighted
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I see.
trademarked.
But you can't copyright a heart.
Well, now with that fucking attitude.
You've posted a photo of the redesign in March 2009 here, Josh, and I just want to point out so many amazing things about it.
Yes.
But one of them is the events tab there in the corner that says UCLA reunion.
Right.
So there's your first red flag.
Yep.
Then immediately followed by screening of I Love You, Man.
Yeah, what a time capsule.
Immediately followed
Do you,
by
do you not remember the classic 2009 motion picture I Love You Man starring
Hey,
Paul Rudd
Rudd.
and Jason Segel
yeah, I think it was fine.
and Rashida Jones also?
That feels like it's a perfectly fine movie about not being gay, right?
I
think
don't-
that was the
I
case.
didn't fucking see it. I don't
it's
know.
like how they always make two movies that are the same. You had I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, and then you have I
Oh,
Love You
yeah.
Man, where they don't get married. They just, well, according to IMDb, go on a series of man dates to find a best man for his wedding. But when his insta bond with his new BFF puts a strain on his relationship with his fiancée, can the trio learn to live happily ever after? I would really enjoy if this movie was just an adaptation of Design for Living, but I just know it's not.
If we hit 5,000 patrons, we will do a 4-hour episode on I Love You Man.
We won't.
Okay, 6,000 patrons.
No.
So the other thing too is that like, okay, I forgot about this redesign too, that when you were welcome to Facebook, at the top, before you could like post your status and like look at all like your little like Rolodex of friends and photos and links or whatever, they would have a little thing that said, welcome, your name here,
Yeah.
and then comma, you have 3 friend requests and 2 other requests, right? That you could click on and it was all sorted for you, as opposed to now, which is there's just a bell icon that you click and it's mostly ads. And there's no way to tell what is relevant or like what kind of thing you're even looking at before you click on.
Yeah, I didn't put a screenshot of the way that Facebook looked before this redesign, which is actually even better.
Yeah.
Like
I remember the 2009 redesign after being on the site for like 2 months was a significant downgrade.
And the reason is that they aren't actually trying to make it easier to use. They're trying to make it easier to monetize. And so one of the big things that now exists in the feed is that posts from celebrities, politicians, others that you're following, these brand pages, they show up now in your feed alongside stuff from your friends. Also, the timeline is now non-chronological. It used to be that things would be coming in chronological order, most recent at the top. That is no longer the case. It is algorithmically curated based on what you tend to comment on and like, and later what people pay for you to see. And this is the change that finally locked in the secret sauce. And I would argue that it's also a change that fundamentally disempowers the user in a way that no other Facebook UX decision had ever done up until this point.
Yep. And again, this is stuff that trickles out into every other social media platform.
Yep.
And the thing that you lose over time is that Facebook used to feel like it's yours, right? It was your space
Very
to
much
like
so.
It was my
express
space.
yourself on the internet. Yeah, it was. Exactly.
You could customize your profile to look exactly how you wanted it to look. You could customize your privacy settings pretty granularly to determine what you saw as well as what you wanted other people to see from you.
It's the difference of hanging out in a clubhouse with your closest friends, like in a treehouse, right? And then having that treehouse bulldozed and replaced with a like office building where you have a little cubicle in the corner room with no door, right? Like there is no privacy anymore, and you're surrounded by businesses.
Everybody's
who
just
are all constantly screaming at
they're just walking in and out of your space however and whenever they want. And it doesn't matter if you say, hey, I only want to talk to these people. Big deal. The other people are still going to show up to yell at you sometimes because that's the platform now.
And there's no way to rebuild the treehouse. There's
Right.
no way to bring back the tree. Because that's just not what capitalism dictates, right?
Time will always keep passing. And so indeed it does. On May 16, 2012, AJ graduates from New York University in a
You gotta stop coming when you say NYU, Josh.
in a status update. AJ notes that he
Has officially graduated from college, and he feels like a wizard!
Well, that's foreshadowing.
Yep. Hell yeah.
this post receives 57 likes. 2 days later, on May 18, Josh turns 22. 26 friends post on his timeline to commemorate his birthday. Also, Facebook holds its initial public offering.
What's so funny? What's so
Well,
funny?
the funny thing is that my birthday should be seen as more important than the Facebook IPO. But I wrote it in such a way that sort of ironically reverses these
Okay,
things.
I thought you were maybe laughing in anticipation of humiliating me.
Oh, no. I mean, you're going to do that right now. The same week, Brian notes,
All this talk about the Great Gatsby trailer, and the only comment I have is that they misspelled Ziegfeld.
the post receives 4 likes. Each post on Facebook now has objective data that lets you know how successful your peers judge your posts to be. And of course, more importantly to Facebook, it lets them know what posts should receive highest priority in the news feed in terms of their own internal algorithm. But they still need more data.
Sure do.
And so, a few years later, February 2016, Facebook releases Reactions. And now, rather than just liking something, you can also love it, or you can ha-ha it, or you can wow it, or you can sad it, or my favorite, you can angry it.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember there was a point, Josh, where once these reactions became a thing, you started making posts with red backgrounds.
Yeah.
And those were the posts that you wanted to generate angry responses.
That's right. I would be very explicit. I'd be like, all right, folks, it's time to hustle up some angry reacts.
I think the only other react that I use other than the heart and the like is just the wow.
Wow is the funniest, I think.
Yeah.
Josh, I remember you doing this. I remember those posts.
This wasn't that long
No,
ago.
I know.
It was also a long time
I
ago.
mean, 2016, it was a while ago.
8 years, baby.
This is 8 years ago. We are kind of old.
Yeah.
The claim here is, it's going to give you so much more texture, and it's going to allow you to respond with more nuance.
Nope.
No, not really. The only
There's
really
so many years where people are like, I want Facebook to add a dislike
Right.
button because your status, although I love you, is about something I dislike happening to you.
Yeah, that wasn't the only reason people wanted that dislike button, I don't think.
Right, and Facebook was like, people want something like this, but we can't add a I hate you, fuck you button.
right.
We need to find some sort of other way of illustrating this.
Right. This fills me with this emotion. It fills me with wow.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing funnier in terms of things you can do with the reacts. I mean, there's two funny things you can do. Number one is the angry react, which is just like funny intrinsically.
Yeah.
And then the condescending wow. The condescending wow is you want to talk about like actual new forms of communication that came about as a result of this change.
Yeah.
There is no better way to piss somebody off than like they think that they're spitting and you give them the condescending wow. It's wonderful.
But it's amazing. Josh, that's so interesting because, like, do you think they got that it was a condescending wow, or did they actually think that they were spitting so hard that you were amazed?
This is me we're talking about, AJ. What do you think?
No, I know, but like the person on the receiving end of that might not necessarily know that's what you're doing.
Josh is a public figure.
I make sure that people know what it is that I think about them.
He just
AJ.
leaves a comment. By the way, that wow was condescending, and then he wows his own comment to drive it home. I love too the way that like the anger react is so impotent.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
like,
know,
so
like,
mean.
people make like a political post, like you'll be in like the chat for the villages in Florida, and it's all just these old drunk boomers who love Donald Trump, and then one person's like, I'm riding with Biden, and it's all angry reacts.
Yeah.
And then like all the comments are just transphobic memes. And then the fact that they got rid of the status as a status. Josh is doing something. Brian is doing something. AJ does this.
Yeah.
It becomes like, now I'm just making a statement, right? It's a tiny blog, a micro blog, if you will.
Right.
And that is a great avenue towards making the platform more amenable to political posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obama continues to be in this fashion. Disagree?
Because back in the old days, you couldn't say AJ is Obama is doing this.
Right.
Right.
Right. You'd have to say AJ is real frustrated with that Barack fellow.
Obama is continuing to transition, and we are all so proud of her.
Like that becomes such a key for engagement is disagreement. And what is the best form of disagreement? Politics posts.
Yeah.
A mass shooting happens every 3 days, and so you have to say it's because kids are really awful or because we need to get rid of every gun forever.
Right.
And then that creates a lot of angry react moments and lots of comments and lots of clicking
Lots of
and a lot of like,
engagement.
I'm going to go to this person's page and see what kind of a fuckhead they are.
That's right.
I need to see precisely how you suck.
On February 29, 2016, Josh Borman adds a new photo to AJ Diddy's timeline.
Yeah.
AJ, what's going on in this photo?
I don't know. I look hot. It's from our first show. Was this the first show that we did?
Mm-hmm. This was the first show we all did together.
Yeah. Where I told the story. I told the air pump story on stage as this sort of solo collective that we had all founded.
AJ is holding
Decent Company.
a very important emotional talisman.
Yes.
A childhood air pump.
Yes.
That was used for a water rocket thing.
It was-
you know,
yeah.
you take a rocket and you put it on the docking port and you shoot that rocket.
That's right.
by pumping it
Yes.
up.
That's right.
Yes.
And this is a black and white picture by our friend Jen Wade
Yep.
who took that, and in a very dark space, and
Yeah.
she has made very good use of the abysmal light levels in a place that later, not very long after, completely shut down.
Burned to the ground, didn't it?
It was right next to the building that exploded.
Okay.
And it shut down, I think, for different reasons.
Got it. Anyway, this photo receives 5 likes, and then AJ subsequently re-uploads the photo as his profile picture, and it gets 54 likes.
Right, because the algorithm favored profile photo changes, right? Like that would, you would always post things on your timeline that wouldn't get any reaction, and then all of a sudden you put your profile picture, and all of a sudden you get all the likes.
Josh also posts a photo to Brian Elford's timeline.
Yeah, and this is me before I had a mustache, before I had long hair, but it was long enough on top that I could tie it into a very pathetic and small man bun.
You really don't look like you've aged at all, Brian. It's quite remarkable.
Well, it's because I haven't.
And never
It
will.
all just happens inside, baby.
I also like that because this is from the show that we did where you were yelling at an anime girl. And,
Yeah, she was my waifu.
right.
It was my waifu play.
Oh my
It was like I
God.
wanted to write. It was my like nasty guy play.
And you
I
can-
wrote a really nasty play about gender, about a guy who is very abusive towards his waifu, who is the main female character of the infamous hentai Bible Black.
And you can even see her face on the laptop.
Yeah, I didn't
that is
notice
in
that.
front
Yes.
of in front
I
of
did
you
not
here,
notice
so.
Her name is Kurumi. Or Kurumi. He calls her Kurumi.
Yeah.
The photo receives 5 likes. Brian re-uploads it as his profile picture as well, where it receives 18 likes and 1 angry react.
Wonder who that was from.
On March 22, 2016, roughly a month later, Josh posts the following. Josh, that's me. It's been a month, so at this point, it's safe to say that Facebook's reactions feature is an unmitigated failure, right? The post receives 6 likes, 2 sads, 1 love, 1 haha, 1 wow, and 1 angry. But Josh has no idea what kind of forces he is messing with. Because per a Washington Post article from 2021, behind the scenes, Facebook programmed the algorithm that decides what people see in their news feeds to use the reaction emoji as signals to push more emotional and provocative content, including content likely to make them angry. Starting in 2017, Facebook's ranking algorithm treated emoji reactions as 5 times more valuable than likes, internal documents reveal. The theory was simple. Posts that prompted lots of reaction emoji tended to keep users more engaged, and keeping users engaged was the key to Facebook's success. And internally, Facebook researchers were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. This could open the door to bad behavior. And the warning proved prescient. The company's data scientists confirmed in 2019 that posts that sparked angry reaction emoji were disproportionately likely to include misinformation, toxicity, and low-quality news.
But again, this is around the time when like I stopped really using Facebook.
Yeah,
And maybe even
me too.
Maybe even a couple years like before that, I'd already kind of started moving away
Yeah,
from
it was somewhere in the middle of the Trump administration, probably when I just kind of didn't really do things on Facebook anymore.
Right. I know that I was there at least for the official player rights of Facebook, but it became a point where it was just like nobody was there anymore. It's like everyone had left the party.
Like COVID was weird in the way that it brought people sort of, even more into online communities that they were on, but like people started to like reconnect with old friends, sending out emails and things like that. And like it did not bring people back to Facebook from what I saw.
No, not really.
Like people who I knew at least who were inactive on the site did not become more active.
No.
So, with the dream of the open internet fully dead, and with
Rip to a real one.
platform now fairly isolated from like its original user base and just having a whole bunch of people who are like getting older and angrier.
Yeah.
It's not hard to see the way that Facebook was sort of headed, right? And just to sort of go real quick over the big bullet points of the features and sort of what sort of behavior they incentivized. Newsfeed gives you information about everything you've ever expressed interest in, but not chronologically.
Chaos.
Which means that there's chaos. The user does not have control over the order through which information is served to them, or even for that matter, what information is being served to them, period. Privacy options have become way less visible and far more obscure as the platform has continued to develop. So This makes serving ads easier, but the user is a lot less likely to know how to opt out of stuff that they don't want to see, assuming, of course, that it's possible to opt out at all, which, again, it's often not. Pages are a numbers game where the more followers you have, the more likely you are to show up in recommended, because, again, the algorithm isn't just serving up stuff that you follow, it's serving up stuff that other people have expressed interest in at some point, meaning that the successful pages are going to be those that have inflated their numbers by creating unusual content that is more likely to gain likes, reactions, and comments, which means creating bots that do that on this weird content. And finally, likes and other reactions make it easier than ever to engage, but the standard of engagement is much, much lower.
Yeah. So it might be a surprise to listeners to learn that we have a Facebook page for the Worst of All Possible Worlds.
It was a surprise to me, and I think I made it.
Yeah, I don't think we have any followers. And it was because we made it and we were like, okay, so now what do we do with it?
Right.
And we all went, we have no idea because we don't know what Facebook is anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think may have sent Josh down this rabbit hole to find out that answer.
AJ Diddy just poked me. What the fuck is that?
Anyway, it's easy to see, given all of this, how if the core system of Facebook were subjected to a force, an incredible force that would like take advantage of all of these weaknesses at once, all of these incentives, it could break the system entirely. But what might such a force look like? We'll find out right after this.
This week's episode is brought to you by that feeling you get when you're browsing your old Facebook at 4 a.m., when the world outside is quiet and still, but your brain buzzes with memories of every botched social interaction you've had from the ages of 14 to 35, particularly one deeply uncomfortable incident involving Felix Cunningham, your old college friend/rival who once caught you in a lie so egregious that you spent weeks in the fetal position on your bathroom floor, blaring "Round Here" by the Counting Crows because you yourself felt like a sleeping child running like the wind out of a lightning dream. And you, current you, some 15 years removed from the bathroom floor, are still trying to banish the memories of cold tile and Evan Williams whiskey by throwing yourself deeper into yourself, attempting to decipher the hidden meaning behind statuses like "Scott Pilgrim is the best movie of the year, hands down," and "I'm apparently getting worse," and "new pants," but ultimately finding nothing. This week's episode is also brought to you by the feeling of coming across an old picture of you and Felix Cunningham. Arms flung across each other, your faces contorted in expressions you imagine were meant to be smiles, but instead look like a toddler trying to figure out how the fuck a face works. In a dorm room adorned with posters of Heath Ledger's Joker and Amelie's Mona Lisa smile, and that one print of a wave that threatens to pull every college student out to sea, where you spent a not insignificant amount of time with Felix looking just like this. Young and invincible, and so much hotter than you ever thought you could be. The whole world ahead of you and nothing behind you. The impossible feeling that, together, there was nothing that could stop you from becoming the you were always destined to be. And you notice that underneath the 3 likes by 3 classmates you stopped talking to years ago, not out of malice, but just out of time, the singular comment from somebody named Eric that just reads, "Epic." And you briefly think, yeah, I guess it was pretty epic. And you get an empty feeling in your chest, a longing not for those days exactly, but for the company, for the shitty stock dorm room, for your eyes looking so full of life and love and under the influence of just so many different kinds of drugs that in an act of impulsive bravado, you make the impossible decision to message Felix after all these years to see if he too remembers those drunken nights scream singing "Round Here" in a dive karaoke bar on Sullivan Street, and those feelings of immortality and joy, and in your quietest moments, a longing for something that remained unspoken but hummed under every interaction and perhaps could finally be given a voice. This week's episode is also brought to you by the feeling of clicking through to Felix's profile page and seeing the word "remembering" before his name, and the world going quiet as you scroll through the list of well-wishers, some names you recognize and some you don't, realizing what was hidden would always remain hidden. And kicking yourself for not reaching out sooner, for not paying close enough attention to this diseased app, for being so self-absorbed that you couldn't take the time to check in on this person who was once a close friend, and you find yourself scrolling through older and older posts, past the mourners and well-wishers, and into his old statuses, his old life updates, his photos of those same dorm parties, and you realize as you scroll through all these old posts that they too are like yours, equally banal, childish, and cryptic in their brevity, and that now, in his absence, this is what remains of him. Fading videos and crumbling code propped up as a mausoleum to his youth, a collective place of mourning that Facebook can monetize and use to prop up their user numbers, a deeply, deeply uncanny ground that feels like peering into the diary of a ghost, and you find yourself hooked, your eyes glued to the screen as you read every one of his posts, desperately dedicating as much of him as you can to memory so that he can exist outside this place, outside these ones and zeros that make up his mark, to prove that this, all of this, was worth something in the end. The more you read, the clearer he appears in your mind, the closer you feel to those days in that terrible dorm room, dreaming of the future you now occupy, and you scroll and scroll and scroll until there is no more. And you click back to your profile as the sun creeps its way into your little room and the cursor at the top of the bar catches your eye. What's on your mind? And you think of the enormity of that question, the enormity of everything, really. But you raise your fingers and type, Felix Cunningham was my friend. The world is so much darker without him in it. And you hope that when you go, when someone else is up at 4 a.m. remembering every one of their botched social interactions, that they will come across your profile and they will read your message and they will know what he meant to you. And hopefully, they will do the same for you.
AJ, you're going through some old posts here now? You've sort of taken that trip down memory lane?
I was insufferable. Dear fucking Christ.
Not me. I was cool, but go on.
AJ Diddy will be the Vladimir to your Estragon? What the fuck?
That would make sense. I could see you saying that
AJ
now.
Diddy just watched Space Jam for the first time in 13 years. Like, this is the thing, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. That's
not insufferable. That's just you just watched a
You just
movie.
watched Space Jam. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it would be
I know, but
insufferable
that's...
if you said it was good, or if you said it was bad in like a weird way, like, they misspelled Ziegfeld.
So I had this thing where instead of saying God, I would say Morgan Freeman, because he was very famously
Wow.
That's
bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's
very famously in the film Bruce Almighty, he plays God. And the main reason I think I did it was because it really made everyone at my Catholic school very upset.
Oh, you were trying to like trigger them, basically.
Yeah, but then what ended up happening was that I became the Morgan Freeman kid. And every year for my birthday, people would get me Morgan Freeman-based, like, paraphernalia.
So you were both the Morgan Freeman kid and the Horse Cane kid?
Yes.
That's tough, man. That's...
And Josh, somehow still popular. I can't explain any of this. It was a different time. It just had to have been a different time.
Yeah, for our listeners here, this is how millennial humor got honed.
But for now, let's get back to old Facebook. Our
do we
dear,
have
our
to?
dear friend. Yeah, because here's the thing. Modern Facebook is mostly made up of nightmares in a way that, whereas old Facebook exists in a realm of cringe nightmares, this one exists in a realm of just actual fucking nightmares.
Now,
For sure.
there is a mode of monetization that we're not really going to get into today, but I did want to bring it up, which is the Facebook Marketplace, which I think internally at Facebook has changed the way that they approach absolutely everything regarding this platform under the Meta umbrella.
It's also probably like the only actually useful component of the platform anymore.
Yeah. I've never bought anything off of Facebook Marketplace because I do not trust fake bitches out there. But most of like large scale shoplifting is people reselling stuff.
Right.
It's not just taking it for their own purposes. Otherwise, they'd only be taking a couple things here and there.
Yeah. No, like there's a big issue with like people. I remember this in the neighborhood I used to live in.
Yeah.
Big problem where like there would just be like an organized ring of guys who would go around and steal all the Haagen-Dazs from all the bodegas.
What?
Yeah.
None of the dryers.
It literally was specifically those little pints of Haagen-Dazs because you could sell them for good money.
That's why when you go to like Rite Aid or whatever, you'll see weird stuff locked up, like stuff that makes sense to you and then stuff that doesn't make sense to you. And it's because certain things sell better. And now instead of just like, I don't know, trying to pawn this off on somebody at a street corner or whatever, you can just sell it on Facebook Marketplace. It's so easy to sell your Haagen-Dazs or your diapers or your cough syrup or whatever.
I'm just imagining a guy in a trench coat opening it up and like in the trench coat is just pints and pints of ice cream.
like it's
You want to
somehow
buy some cookies and cream?
it's somehow refrigerated in there.
Yes.
Like the steam comes out of there. Yeah.
I got some caramel in my bindle.
Yeah, people have figured out a lot of ways to make good money on Facebook. And one of those ways is to create pages or take over pages that a lot of people go to and then do like affiliate link marketing where you like click through to a product or like a website that's like loaded up with bullshit ads and you can make money by monetizing that traffic. And most of what we're going to be talking about in the second half of this episode is to do with that exact thing. Now that Facebook is no longer a place where you actually go to interact with people, it's a place where you go to get money from people. All of the innovations have been in the world of how do I make money off of a sucker? And there's really no better example of a sucker's game than AI art. In January 2021, OpenAI released its first iteration of the program DALL-E, D-A-L-L-E. This is a text-to-image model where you type in what it is you want to see, and it gives you the ugliest image you've ever seen.
Yes.
Midjourney, another company, released their program of the name Midjourney in July 2022. Stability AI released Stable Diffusion in August 2022. These are really the three programs that almost everybody is using. And even the stuff like that is now available on websites is using these models on the back end. DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion. Do you guys remember the first time that you saw like a piece of AI art?
I remember a friend of mine being like, if you're running a D&D game and you need a very specific image quick and you're not able to find it quick enough, type something in there and you'll get something that's not great, but it'll like do to like give it a thing, and then you can describe it in a way that's a little bit better than what's there. But yeah, it's even I remember that AI art being infinitely better than the stuff that is currently happening now because it wasn't feeding on its own stuff at that point.
Yeah, it wasn't eating its own ass. I mean, really, my first exposure to generative art was Deep Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Deep Dream was Google's first foray into generative images from AI. And that was a long time ago. That was many, many years ago now. And I mean, there was no fooling anyone with it. Everything always came out looking like eyes or peacock feathers.
Right.
Yeah, everything was biblically accurate.
Yeah,
All of it.
yes. It was weird and like sparkly and psychedelic, but in shitty ways.
Right.
And it was like a very clear proof of concept. It's like we are certainly moving in the direction of something that is starting to become an image.
I do remember the earliest release of DALL-E and that people would like hook it and be like Sonic with boobs. And then like it would be like, oh, that kind of looks like Sonic with boobs. It was pretty crude at that point. What I remember being the first thing that really set the internet ablaze was this really fucking shitty children's book. And just like I say AI art in the loosest possible sense, because there's no other good word to describe it, this was a children's book in the loosest possible sense. The entire text of the thing was generated with ChatGPT, and all of the images were generated by Midjourney. And it was hideous. It was hideous. It was called Alice and Sparkle. It was about this girl, and she had like a robot friend. And
Okay.
it was just generated by some fucking brain dead, like, valley creep.
Yeah, it was like some guy who's like really interested in tech, but
Yeah.
so he's like, oh yeah, you can just make a children's book, but he didn't like make a book about anything.
No, he just like
Yeah.
fucking threw some prompts in, self-published it on Amazon, sold it for like $15. I don't think anybody actually bought it.
Oh, I think people bought it, but I think it was all people gassing him up.
Yeah, probably. But like, I put here an image from Alice and Sparkle.
Yeah.
It's a little girl. And she's, what's going on with her hands, man?
Yeah, those fingers
Her hands
are
are
real
real fucked up. Yeah,
Um,
they're real bad. And that's one
everything,
of the-
every background element is sort of oddly smeary, right? It kind of just sort of rubs its way into the next
Yeah.
element, whether it's the house plant or the window.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of separation between the items.
all the angles are real fucked up, and not
Yes.
in like a fun artistic way, but in a way that the computer can't tell angles or like distance between things. There's a thing at the back that kind of looks like a thing you eat in Bloodborne in order to see like the great outer god. It's just like looks like a pile of like intestines behind her. I think it's supposed to be a hat, but I'm really unsure
Yeah.
actually.
And because it's multiple pictures, right? This is a children's book. There's supposed to
Yeah.
be more than one illustration. Nothing ever remains on model. Everything always changes a bit. She's a
Yep.
girl with frizzy hair and a blue dress, but the way that it's going to interpret that every time is going to be sometimes wildly different. And in fact, the cover of Alice and Sparkle is just horrifying. It's just one of the worst fucking things you've ever seen. It's like a porcelain doll from hell.
oh dear Christ.
no, that-
And like some of these internal images, you know, when you see it as a thumbnail, which is really what all of these things are built for, is to be a
Right.
thing that you go past on your
Yep.
feed, not something you click on and look at, not something that you enlarge. They look kind of fine. It's like, oh yeah, here's just some not particularly memorable image of a girl and this little robot thing.
Yeah.
But then you click on it and you see it slightly large, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
All of
yeah,
this
it's all
is
kind
wrong.
of smeary. It's all kind of wrong. Sometimes she goes back into like weird porcelain doll mode. You know, she has like different things in her hair from picture
Yeah.
to picture. It has no idea what it wants Sparkle to be. Like Sparkle sometimes has legs, sometimes he's a keyboard.
No, but it's also just like, what have you done at the end of all this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've published a book, it's on Amazon, sure, but what have you done?
Oh, AJ, prompt engineering is such a difficult science.
Oh,
and
sure.
I can point you
Yeah.
to some of the most prestigious prompt engineering competitions where they have to very carefully work and make sure that they're telling the system exactly what it needs to do. In fact, AJ, mastering prompt engineering, that's going to be like learning how to type for the next generation. You're not going to be able
Wow.
to survive in the AI information economy unless you understand the subtle art of prompt engineering.
Stable Diffusion needs its own Mavis beacon.
So you're saying we can play as prompt engineering?
You can, potentially. Another moment with AI shit that I really remember being a huge explosive moment. The first time that I really saw this AI stuff making its way to the mainstream was Puffy Jacket Pope Francis.
Yeah.
AJ, do you remember Puffy Jacket Pope Francis?
I do. I was fooled by Puffy
Oh, you
Jacket
are?
Pope Francis.
It's far more convincing than a lot of these things,
Yes.
right? Like his
Yeah.
fingers look okay. I don't know if there was a little bit of Photoshop that went into this, but like at first glance, even right now with it slightly larger than a thumbnail on my phone, his face looks photographic. If you zoom in a little bit more, you'll see the smeary elements, but his left hand looks like a normal hand.
Yeah.
His right hand, not so much.
Yeah, and again, if you're just looking at this in a thumbnail, absolutely. If you're scrolling by it, sure.
Yeah, it just looks like somebody who was a very clever Photoshopper put this
Right.
together, took a real picture of his face and put it on some guy at like Milan Fashion Week wearing a puffy jacket.
Right, and put the cross on there too.
Yeah.
And what I remember about this specifically was that it was like the first moment where a whole bunch of people were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to ruin what we understand as a shared sense of truth.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Like around 2016, there was all the discussion around deep fakes, which haven't actually been so big of a thing. You know, face swapping, whatever. They're out there. They're certainly out there. They're certainly doing their thing. But AI blows up, and it's sort of dovetailing with the blow up and subsequent crash of NFTs.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of why people are kind of missing the train a little bit as it's kicking off, as to seeing like the social impact that this is going to have. But I have not seen in mainstream news media anywhere near the amount of fear around AI generated images as I did around deep fakes.
The issue with all of this stuff is less to do with will it fool 100% of people 100% of the time? And it's more, can it fool 10% of people in a way that is extremely fucking consequential? Mm-hmm. Because as long as that can happen, it doesn't matter if the other 90% of the population looks at it and is like, that's fucking fake bullshit and you're an idiot. Because if there's one thing that we've learned over the course of the past decade, it's that once people are set in their opinions, they're going to keep believing what they believe.
Well, I mean, it almost feels like it's going to get to the point where, you know, you're going to like get on a space station somewhere and you'll be like in this huge like mech suit with a gun that can like cut off limbs. And there'll just be like blood spewed all over the
Dead
wall.
Space reference?
And it's going to be in blood.
Really
it's going to be
suit,
written, look at the hands.
This is a Dead
just
Space
over
reference.
and over and over again.
It's not really
look at the hands.
I wouldn't classify that as a mech suit. It's more like a diving bell.
We've already hit a point where AI is imploding in on itself, and they never got hands right. So it's not like they're suddenly going to one day get good at hands.
Hands are coming soon. Hands have gotten significantly
Hands
better.
have gotten better. They're still not perfect. They've been getting better. I think for me, the thing is, I am less likely to be like, well, it's not ever going to fully get there, so that means that it's never going to work. It's more, what are the practical applications of this technology, and do we actually get anything of value out of it?
What does it actually do?
And to that point, Facebook has been working on policies around AI content. However, because they are in this sort of double bind where they need the AI generated content to succeed because they've staked so much of the future of the company on that thing.
Yeah.
They have to play both sides in their policies. So in February 2023, this is just before Pope Francis and the puffy jacket went viral, Facebook announced that it will be putting together a policy to label AI content. And every time that I remember that Nick Clegg, the fucking Lib Dem politician from the UK, is in charge of PR for Facebook, it makes my head explode. Nick Clegg wrote a press release and he said, that's why we've been working with industry partners to align on common technical standards that signal when a piece of content has been created using AI. Being able to detect these signals will make it possible for us to label AI-generated images that users post to Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. We're building this capability now, and in the coming months, we'll start applying labels in all languages supported by each app. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have never actually seen this label, ever. Like in the wild on any piece of content on Facebook or Instagram.
I know it pops up on Instagram.
Instagram, it's easier to see.
I'm not on Instagram, so I have not seen it personally myself, but I am on a couple of forums, photography forums. And a lot of people are saying that they're getting the AI flag on every picture that they post.
And these are real photos.
These are real photos, but they have been run through Adobe Photoshop.
Okay.
Adobe Photoshop has some tools that use generative effects, especially the newest versions of Photoshop, right? Yeah. The most famous being content-aware fill of, you draw the lasso around an object, you want to delete it, you don't have to be very clean about it. You can be kind of messy, you just hit delete, you do the content-aware fill, and then that uses the patterns around it, and then also now the cloud to generate what it thinks is supposed to go there. Because of this, if I understand correctly, even if you don't use that tool, if you're saving something from Adobe Photoshop, it will now automatically include a metadata tag saying that your picture is AI.
So Photoshop is basically planting a flag in the metadata.
Yep.
And that's what's getting
And
picked up
that
on these
is
uploads.
Oh,
so
man.
you put it on Instagram. It's a picture that's all your own. It has been worked on digitally, but worked on. It's not just been thrown in there.
Right.
It's not being generated wholesale. It's being flagged as AI art.
Well,
Got
the good news is that all of our posters aren't AI art. And
Hooray!
so I have somehow avoided this. But that's wild because I don't use those tools,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't know. It feels really weird to like trust it with AI, especially knowing Adobe, who are going to sell your stuff whether you want them to
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Like I just don't want to even play with that kind of
Well,
shit.
and the thing is, too, as regards creating shit, generative AI is not useful. It's not going
no.
to give you what you want.
And
It can't.
And that's the thing, is like not useful in that, yeah, it's not going to give you precisely what you want. You're not going to have as much control over it as you really need to if you want,
Right.
especially if like you're using it for branding. We've had a couple of brands use it for advertisements now, and it's like, well, this doesn't look like your logos.
Yep.
This doesn't look like what it would be like going into your restaurant or whatever. This just looks like a bunch of stuff.
Or like on the subway, I've seen so many of those posters now that are clearly using something that was generated in Midjourney or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can
Yeah.
always tell because it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can put it. Even if everything seems to be in place, it's like the composition of it just doesn't make sense. It's wrong.
There's kind
somehow.
of a creepiness almost all
Yeah.
the time.
But not even like an intentionally creepy way. Like there's stuff that like, you know, old creepypastas, like back from like, you know, 2010, 2011. You look at that shit and all that stuff is photoshopped, but it's done with intentionality.
Yeah.
So you can, like, something feels wrong to you, but you feel like, ooh, like you're listening to a
Yeah.
spooky story or whatever. You look at these like AI generated things and you can tell that the effect that it's having on you is not intentional, and your brain, I think, somehow recognizes that fact.
Yes.
Yeah. And Facebook can't just bury it because, like, as you said, Josh, Facebook wants you to generate images. They want
Exactly.
you to use their application to do it. And they have combined their AI prompto with their search barrow.
Yep.
So that when you and it's automatic. So like when we were trying to like look up posts relating to this, you know, because there are these weird sentences that you'll see in a lot of these, you know,
Yeah.
I made my own birthday cake, things like that.
I would appreciate your marks.
I would appreciate your marks. You type that, if you type in a full sentence into Facebook's search bar, it will immediately go over to the AI prompter. It'll be like, thanks, I'll give you some marks. But actually, Germany introduced the euro in 2000, you know, like
I would give you some marks, but I can't anymore.
You should eat 4 euros a day to maintain a healthy diet.
and that is just like this fundamental conflict because the AI art is clearly shitting up the whole network.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
yeah.
making a bunch of garbage posts that are being interacted with by largely garbage accounts, and it's not actually good for their bottom line. Nor is using generative AI at all on their platform, because that is a money loser. However, it is attractive to investors.
Yes.
So you can get money that way, but you don't get money through the basic business model of selling something that makes money.
So, Brian, you and I started messaging about this specific stuff like toward the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I was going back through our Signal chat.
Yeah. For me, and what I started sending you was posts from a page that I followed called Star Bright Angels.
Yeah, I didn't realize you already were following this page.
Well, because it used to be a page that was like just classic uplifting boomer, like Christian, you know, this inspirational young boy was able to defeat his disease by praying.
And that boy's name, Johnny Deeper.
That's right, Brian. And then
good
of
God.
course in all the comments would be like old ladies being like, Amen, Amen.
Yeah.
But I noticed around like February or March that all of a sudden, rather than these inspirational stories of true Christian little boys, it was Well, what I'm looking at here right now, which is there's in the middle of this picture, there's what can be described as an old woman, but really looks more like a clay figure of some sort.
Like a Bunraku puppet.
Yeah, that's right. She is flanked on either side by these little Asian girls who look to be maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like grandma. They're at grandma's birthday party.
Yeah, and in front of them is a cake with the number 120 on it.
Yes.
And it is in fondant. There's lettering on it that says "Happy Ippy Birthday, Joan, Jone, and then
John.
And then something that looks like Greek, but it's not quite
I think
Greek.
I think it's the grandma's serial number.
Yeah, because there's numbers.
IH, something vaguely Greek or perhaps Georgian. Y, upside down L,
Yeah.
110, Iaria.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
a
we've
fun
also
fact, that is my social security number.
Where were you born?
we've also got a
Space.
We've got a couple pumpkins here. Anyway, the caption says, "Hello, everyone. I am Jane. I am 120 years old. I made my own birthday cake with peach cream and filling. I started decorating cakes from 5 years old. I love it, and I can't wait to grow my baking journey."
Well, you shouldn't wait because you don't have much time.
I don't know. With that face, she's living for another 120 years, I think.
So this page is shared by something called Star Bright Angels.
Yes.
But the initial post, it's actually doing like a quote tweet.
Right.
So this is a post from a page called I Love the U.S. Army. That post from I Love the U.S. Army has the same caption. So you're
Yes.
seeing the caption twice. And then you are seeing this generated image of the 120th birthday of the 120th Ippy birthday of Jane Joan.
Jane Joan.
All of these tweets from this time are being first tweeted by I Love the U.S. Army. Then
Not tweeted. These are being posted on Facebook.
They're being tweeted on Facebook. Facebook now has tweets because no one else does. And then they are being quote posted. I don't know, like what do you call quote shared?
They're railing your ass in the quote posts.
By Star Bright Angels. Clearly, these are the same thing. They are the same entity. And they're always being, in March at least, they're always being framed like this because there is something that juices engagement because you're already engaging with the separate page.
Yeah, and it looks like just in terms of the time that they're like actually like sent out, there's a day in between, right? There is sort of there is a buildup of like posted on one day, it gets all the likes of that one day, but then you got to retweet it to get the likes of the next day.
Right. It's very important to get the overarch of the audience of I Love the U.S. Army and Star Bright Angels. Those are two different
Totally
demographics.
different.
That's the key to all this. Well, you got some more slop for us here too. There,
I do.
Josh.
Yeah. Well, 'cause-
what is this? What is this teen doing next to this Jesus tree?
well, you see, one of the very common types of AI slop is wood carvings and carpentry.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
Okay.
might be the most common, other than birthday cakes, where basically
I don't know. I feel like emaciated African children is or dogs full of maggots are another big part of
That's
all
true.
this.
The more grotesque stuff is definitely on trend as of late. But what we're looking at here is a girl. She's standing next to a tree, and she has somehow managed to carve the face of Jesus out of the tree.
Yeah.
Like not into the tree, but out of the tree.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like
Sticking out.
extruded the tree.
It looks like the tree is like giving birth to Jesus's head.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's almost like it's a chair. Like
Yeah,
the
there's a
tree
little
has a
ledge.
stump.
Oh,
It
stool.
forgets
Yeah.
that's supposed to be part of the same tree. So there's like a separate stump that's coming out of the same tree.
And what's also noteworthy about this one was I was able to grab some of the comments,
The
right?
comments, yeah.
We've got Mark Johnson who says, "Outstanding work. Thanks for sharing."
Catherine Dahlgren Plot says, "Magnificent."
RV Mansueto says, "Amen. Praying hands, sparkling heart, rose."
Marcus Najar says, "Great job."
Judy Johnson Towel says, so great.
Come on.
A
Johnson
little boy went to
Towel?
school and his name was Johnny Johnson Towel.
Towel. So great. I would like to have this in my yard. Which got a reply. So good for you, Johnson
Well,
Towel.
we'll talk about what those replies are in a bit. Tammy Henderson Hall says, wow, what a gift and talent. It's absolutely beautiful.
And Donna Weeks says, great job.
Now, this picture also has a caption that's a little bit more coherent. It just says, fantastic wood carving, praying hands. This lady deserves our recognition, clapping hands.
Right,
Oftentimes these things are like confusingly first person and like, or like they're like almost like a narration of something else going
Right.
on, or just
Right.
strange questions in broken English.
I would just like to point out that in the replies to this,
Yes.
like some of these are getting a lot more interaction than others, to the point that it seems almost farcical.
Yeah.
Like there's one that just gets one like, outstanding work. That's old Mark Johnson. Better luck next time, buddy. Maybe you should marry Judy Johnson Towel. You wouldn't have to change your name. But
Plus,
there's one
his penis would always be dry. She's always there with it.
toweling off. That's what they call it. The hand job from Judy. Toweling off. So Donna Weeks' post though, just great job. No originality, nothing to it. 167 responses.
And I don't, I think, have the link to this post anymore. But basically what's going on here is that all of these other posts have one reply, and it's the page being like, you know, saying some bullshit or linking to whatever.
Yeah.
But then the one with 73 replies is a whole bunch of real people dunking on Donna for not realizing that it's AI.
That's just
Oh,
all
okay.
of Donna's friends. It showed
But
up in
what's-
their page and like, Donna, you dumb bitch.
But like as to why the real people who do exist
Yeah.
are replying to that comment but not any of the other ones, I could not say, because
Right.
Donna made the post at the same time as all of these other people, and odds are decent that none of these people are actually real.
Yes.
right.
I guess I should talk a little bit. If we go back up for a moment here to Starbright Angels. So
Jane Jones.
So yeah, Jane
Jane
Jones.
Jones.
The tree Jesus comes from animal lovers. Of course, there's not a single animal in that picture. But Starbright Angels, and I love the U.S. Army. Let's dig into what happened here. So the first post that I saw, just going to Starbright Angels today. It's just some cartoon about babies. It's not AI generated. It's clearly just something that has been stolen. They just took someone else's thing, and it's like, oh yeah, it's really hard to sleep when you have a baby, and the baby's going to sleep in the bed with you.
It should be noted, by the way, I would appreciate your marks on this. Starbright Angels has 5.3 million likes.
Million.
This is a massive page.
So like half of the comments on this one post, this top post, are bots. Great, good job, amen, whatever.
Right.
The other half are people like, this is really dangerous. You should not sleep in the same bed as your child. All of these comments, all of them, fake ones or real ones or whatever, all of the ones that are appearing as main comments, just about, are women, and they're clearly older. Some of them that are fake are younger women. In the replies to all of these main comments are profiles that appear to be men, middle-aged, or even early elderly years. And all of them are romance scams.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
So to one woman who responded, "This is dangerous," one of the comments that is replying to her says, "You look familiar. Do you live in USA?" Next one, "Hello, pretty nice one." Next one, "You look so beautiful with a conscious smile. Can I ask you a question if you don't really mind?" To which she replied, "No."
There is something very beautiful to the one-word Facebook response. Feels like a lost art at this point.
So Facebook accountability for pages became a hot issue during the Trump era, right? We had fake news, we had fake pages. We had a lot of people who would follow some page that used to be like, "Boy, I sure do hate it when I get a flat tire." That's what pages started out as. It was just like, you like a feeling or a vibe.
You like driving down the East Beltline at 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then somewhere along the way, someone might get hacked, or they give up the account, or they sell the account to someone who just turns it into Super MAGA Kill All the Immigrants 2016.
This actually did happen to me too, and I don't remember specifically what the account was that I used to follow versus what it became. I just remember it popping into my feed one day and being like, "What the fuck is this?" And it happens a lot. It's one of those things too, where like Facebook's policies around like buying and selling accounts, or like restoring accounts that have been hijacked, all of it is such a black box that it's impossible to know what is really going on.
So Starbright Angels was started in 2011. Some of these posts get like 1 like. Some of these posts get like 7 likes, and then some of them blow up. Sometimes the ones that are super big, like the ones Josh would send me screenshots of, I couldn't find on the page.
Right.
They show up on the news feed. They don't necessarily show up on the page. So even the page itself is being filtered and curated by Facebook's algorithm. So you can never quite get a hold of anything exactly the way that you want to get it. It only gets to come to you as decided by machines.
Because this page has been around since 2011.
Yeah.
And so everything is still being stored against these, presumably, I mean, I don't know what their data structure looks like, but presumably there's something going on here where the data isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, I remember there was a time where you and I were hanging out, and you got like, you were on a thing on Facebook that had a link to like a shop where you could buy something. And I never click on those things because I'm always afraid of like phishing scams, right? And you did the craziest thing I've ever seen a human do, which is just click through every single link, right? It led to like an AV Club article and then you went to the bottom of the page, you clicked on one of those links down there to see where that went, and you just kept clicking and clicking and clicking through it, and eventually just got to a dead page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing at the bottom of these things.
Who is making the money here, and how? How does this make anyone money at all?
And a big piece of it is that with these pages, you need to figure out a compelling way to get somebody off of Facebook and onto your site, or
which
your
is hard
affiliate
to
link,
do,
or whatever it is. It's very hard to do.
Why don't pictures like this ever trend?
I'm always saying this.
So when you look at Starbright Angels now, it has an address and phone number right there on the front of the page. Very easy. The whole thing right there.
Okay. Yeah.
So that address and phone number are for a Whataburger in Oklahoma City. There is no way to report this. You can say, it's doing, if you go to like the other option whenever you're reporting, because it's like, it's not inciting violence. It's other.
Right.
Facebook doesn't give you a box to fill out. It just says, thanks. Fuck off.
There's not even an option for like, this is inaccurate information?
No. So I can click for the whole page to say, it's impersonating a business.
I mean, not really, though.
No, that's the closest I could get. And then when you say that, Facebook has a box for you to fill in. It is not a box that you can enter any text you want. It's a box where you can enter the page of the business that they are supposedly impersonating.
What?
So that only applies if this page is saying at the top, I'm the Whataburger in Oklahoma City.
Right.
And then there has to be a Facebook page for the Whataburger in Oklahoma City, which there isn't. There's just a Whataburger page in general.
Oh my God.
But this goes back to the question of like incentives.
Yeah.
What is the platform actually trying to do?
They don't want to get rid of this page. If they got rid of scam pages like this with fake addresses and everything, like, it's bad for business overall. It could cause a huge dent in the money that they're making.
Line must go up. They would lose so many pages because no one's on it anymore.
They can block certain search terms, which they have done, by the way. I was curious to try to find some slop. I just went to the search bar and typed,
Alessandro Daddario.
Well, I typed in. Well, that one still works.
Yeah.
But I typed in "made it by my own hand."
Okay.
Which is a long-standing thing. I made it by my own hand. I would appreciate your marks. It doesn't work anymore. That phrase no longer works.
No, that's what I'm finding is there has been some purging going on, and there has been some fiddling with search terms.
What happens every time that occurs is that they just come up with new terms that you can use instead.
Yeah.
So at this time, AJ, I would like you to go ahead on Facebook and search for beautiful cabin crew and let me know what you see.
Oh, wow. The first immediate search results that come up.
Yeah.
Beautiful Cabin Crew, Scarlett Johansson,
Uh-huh.
Beautiful Cabin Crew and Flight Attendant, Beautiful Cabin Crew meme, Beautiful Cabin Crew lover, and hashtag Beautiful Cabin Crew.
So
let's take a
what kind of images are we seeing here, AJ?
Yeah, okay, here is what appears to be Pamela Anderson and a young strapping Donald Trump.
Okay.
Ooh.
In a large field with from the account Boomer Clickbait, and the caption "Beautiful sunset" with 3 hearts. Hashtag Scarlett Johansson. I don't know if they think that's Scarlett Johansson.
No, they
because
don't. It's just they use Scarlett Johansson and Alessandro Daddario on all of these posts.
Oh, these get very grotesque very quick.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any of the ones like my current favorite genre where like I like when Jesus is on one side and Satan is on the other side,
Yeah.
and then on the Jesus side there's a big thing that says Amen, and on the Satan side there's a big thing that says skip. Are you seeing any of those?
No.
And those are
okay.
classic. I mean, memes like that have been around where it's like Satan leaning over your shoulder and saying, keep scrolling since
Yeah.
Facebook was invented.
Right.
Basically.
So I have a picture of a skeleton who is sitting with a bunch of what appear to be African children, but
Okay.
all their faces are melting off their skulls.
Okay,
and,
yeah. They're very sick.
And the African child in the foreground is feeding what appears to be like if raisins were wrong.
Okay.
To the skeleton's hand.
Oh.
And it just looks like there's like a famine in the background.
Okay.
And the caption is, John Lennon recently visited Africa to help feed the children. I cannot
I guess that
stress
is
enough.
what he would look like.
I cannot stress enough how this is just a skeleton.
So this is just to the point of like other things that frequently crop up with these weird AI
Yeah.
images. African children are
African
on trend
children,
right
it's
now.
huge.
Oftentimes the African children will be building like incredibly elaborate sculptures out of plastic bottles.
Yep.
Like this one-
Including sculptures of God and the devil on
That's
one
right.
side and the other.
So right here I have an image, and there's a small boy who's in what appears to be like a very large, I guess, semi-trailer truck.
It's a semi truck, but one that like transports like gas or
Right.
like dangerous flammable liquids.
And it's been, I guess, constructed of soda bottles that
Uh-huh.
appear to be mostly like Sprite and Coke and Pepsi,
This
I
is
guess.
like that episode of the Magic School Bus I was talking about in our Lads cast. That's what happened to
Yeah.
the Magic School Bus.
Okay.
It got turned into the recycled component parts.
Got
There's
it.
so many of these that are close your eyes 80 to 85% to see magic.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I'm looking at one right now, and I think it's supposed to say wander, but what it spells is Wakandikari.
Yeah.
That's common. There's like ones where you squint and it looks like Jesus.
Yeah.
And, speaking of Jesus,
Oh,
speaking of
sure.
our Lord and Savior,
Yeah.
I think the thing that really made this most indelible for the people who heard about it was, in fact, the phenomenon of shrimp Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, shrimp Jesus is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Jesus that is made out of shrimp.
Yeah.
And this-
sometimes in more horrifying ways than
Yeah,
others.
sometimes
is
it's
what I will
Jesus
say.
just is a shrimp. Sometimes Jesus is like part statue. Sometimes Jesus is made out of many, many, many shrimps.
Right. His hand is a crawdad.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like not Jesus, it's like Moses. Like something has like leaked through, or like it's the Virgin Mary or something like that, or it's crabs instead of shrimp. But for some reason, that alongside like mutilated and drowning children, the various Jesuses with various carapaces have really caught on.
I showed many shrimp Jesus pictures to people at a party last week, and they were all like equally horrified. And it is very interesting how, if you are not online, I think in quite the way that we are, this has not really permeated the outside
all.
world, because
Yeah.
again, no one in our age demographic is really on Facebook anymore. So like the exposure to this is limited.
and it's not getting a lot of media coverage.
Yeah, it's not really trending. I mean, Twitter's pretty much unusable at this point. This kind of slop hasn't made it to like the front pages of Instagram yet.
Sure.
Right. So, unless you are sort of tuned into this stuff, it can come as quite a surprise that this is what Facebook has become, because I think everyone knows that Facebook is where like your racist uncle will, go off on why he can't say the N-word.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like, I don't think that they understand just how like AI has completely decimated this social media platform in a very short amount of time.
Another great Jesus page, because another thing that they've been doing with Jesus lately has not involved shrimp at all. One of these pages is something called Jesus.support.
Oh, yes, Jesus support. Yes.
Jesus support runs a Facebook group called Jesus and Pity.dog. That's an ampersand for and. It's one word, Jesus and Pity.dog. I think this entire thing is generated from the start by a computer. Like, it's like how a computer would think about making a Facebook page.
Yeah.
So Jesus support is the admin of Jesus and Pity.dog and posts basically everything into Jesus and Pity.dog.
Is it like the relationship between Starbright Angels and I Love the U.S. Military?
No, because it's not doing the repost thing. Maybe it was. Maybe it was in the past, but it's not anymore because that's not the thing anymore. Right, but for the matter of Starbright Angels and I Love the U.S. Military, those were two pages, right? It wasn't a page in a group.
Okay.
And it wasn't a page posting its posts to a group. It was just a page posting and then a page reposting. Jesus support, its URL, if you go to the Facebook URL, is Tony Crawfish's 369.
Hell yeah.
Like crawfish plural, but not
That's my
crawfishes.
nickname down at the market.
Its address is 49 Holly Street, Columbus, Georgia, United States, Georgia, Columbus, Ohio, United States, 31901.
Oh, where Odyssey is.
That zip code is for Columbus, Georgia. There is no Holly Street in either of those places. However, next to that listed address, Jesus support has a pin drop down on a map.
Okay.
And it is in a spot in Columbus, Ohio. So I found the corresponding location. You can't like click on it and like go to a map. It's just basically like an uninteractive picture.
Okay.
But I went over to Google Maps and I found that spot in Columbus. Where this dropped pin is implies that Jesus.support operates in Columbus, Ohio at either a Christian school or a children's hospice.
Well, you know what?
Oh, God.
Jesus has to provide a lot of... Jesus loves the little children.
Further along...
all the children of the world.
Further along on the About page, it has places lived. And it only lists one place where it says it is currently living, and that is Des Moines, Iowa. That's right, folks. Josiah Sutton of the Fruitless Podcast is running this page out of a children's hospice, and he is a menace.
We got him.
So
finally
this is a pretty new page, but in February you could tell it was doing something slightly different than what it does now.
Sure.
And that was streaming Grand Theft Auto 5.
Brian, can I ask?
Yeah.
Did you choose these at random? Like, could you
these
like,
are the pages that Josh chose.
Okay. I was just going to say, like, could you throw a dart at a board?
Yes.
And basically, this is the story behind every single one of them.
So what Jesus support posts mainly is pictures of Jesus Christ alongside a soldier. There's also stuff involving our beautiful airline crew or whatever. But Jesus is also an amputee with prosthetic legs. But a lot of the times the AI doesn't know that, like, when it's seeing shoes on people with prosthetic legs, that means the foot isn't there. So it'll sometimes show Jesus with his bare feet in his sandals at the end of the prosthetic leg. So they're like real feet.
Yeah.
And there's a dog too. And the dog sometimes also has prosthetic legs.
Well, it's right in the name, isn't it? It's right in the name of the page.
Right. Jesus and Pity.dog.
Thank you. Thank you.
Animal Lovers, which had the carved Jesus tree, was created in 2021. Some of these pages have lots of likes and comments, but no other engagement. Animal Lovers has it all. It's got reviews, it's got mentions, it's got wall posts, it's got all of that.
Are the reviews from like before it switched from whatever it used to be? Or
might be some. Mostly what I see for reviews are other scams. So I'll just like read the first sentence of a number of these. I was diagnosed with herpes virus and tried all I can to get cured, but to no avail until I saw a post in a health forum about an herbalist, blah, 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 blah. They recommend Animal Lovers.
Oh boy.
All the don't recommends are people saying this is a scam site, and then those don't recommends are being replied to with scam comments.
Okay.
Forex and crypto changing is about making money and having a good
that's
trader to
awesome,
trade
dude.
for you. Recommends animal lovers. I came across Mrs. Robert Stella when she appeared as a guest on Forex podcast in the USA. Recommends animal lovers. Like that. So many, hundreds of these things.
I have some really bad news, guys, about some investments I made in people posting for our podcast. We might owe a lot of people a lot of money.
The other thing that I wanted to point up about all of this, too, is that there was, for many of these pages, a point at which they were posting real content, engaging with real people, and maybe they weren't great pages. Maybe they weren't like setting the world on fire or building bridges between humanity, but at least there was something there, you know? One of the sources that I used when I was putting this episode together is a great paper that was written by Renee DeResta and Josh Goldstein, who are at Stanford and Georgetown, respectively. And they just basically looked at Facebook's deep data tools to see about the prevalence of this AI shit. And what's kind of fun about it is that Facebook is now getting rid of the very tool that allowed them to do that research in the first place.
I'm sure that's just, for its own reason. It's got nothing to do with...
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're closing up shop in a big way, friends.
And so one of the things that they talk about is the way that these pages sort of change when the hijack or renaming or whatever happens. And I quote, take, for example, the page Life Nature. The page was first created on December 9, 2011 with the name Rock the Nation USA. The pages appear to be the page of a real band posting flyers for the traveling band with information about upcoming concerts. On December 29, 2023, the page changed its name to Life Nature and began posting AI-generated images among photos taken from other parts of the internet. Whereas the touring band had approximately 9,400 followers, a number which had remained consistent from July 2023 to December of that year. Following the name change, the page acquired 300,000 followers between December 31 and January 6.
Totally organic.
The second post after the name change received more than 32,000 likes and 17,000 comments.
Well, all those people were just really amazed at the 120-year-old woman making her baking journey.
Jane Joan.
Yeah.
Jane Joan.
Her name is Jane Joan.
Well, and,
She has a name, Brian.
and to go back to Starbright Angels, this was a real page. It didn't get a name change. Starbright Angels used to be a public mourning page, mostly for people who have lost their children. Whose children have died.
I think by the point I was following it, it had already pivoted from like, here are these children. Who are these children going up? to
there is a mod named Sophie when you come across the old posts. Sophie speaks very clearly in regular English, actually quite well written English. The page seems to be based out of the UK. And why I say this is because what it focused on, it seems, was more than just like maybe some posts supporting you about like it hurts to lose a child or whatever, these sorts of things that they're making. But they do events. They did events. And these events would be things like burying time capsules, or at least saying that they were. There would usually be some photographs. There was never a photo of the capsule being buried itself, but like you'd see like a cylinder or something. And for each event, Sophie said that she would be writing down names that are submitted on the Facebook page and place them in the capsules and put those in certain places. So one of them is, our angels are going to meet Robin Hood, and she goes and buries a capsule in Sherwood Forest.
Okay.
Another one is she places the names into a capsule and puts that behind a waterfall in Scotland. So all of these things are organized around events, and all these events still exist on the page if you just scroll down enough in their old posts.
This is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
And it's touching in a really odd way.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's weird and it's kind of grotesque, but that's what grief is.
Yeah, well, and it pulls back to sort of what we were talking about at the very beginning about how there was a point at which this was a social network.
Yeah.
Where the point was about connecting people to do something.
Yeah.
Together.
Together.
The last such event for any of these appears to have been like a live stream Christmas thing in December of 2018. After that, no more events involving angels, involving time capsules, involving any of that stuff. And then I believe it's this point that this page must have changed hands.
Sure. There's something about the deep human emotion of loss.
Yeah.
And the way that people communicate around it on this page. This is like just one example of the countless corners of just Facebook that were once places for people to gather, to talk, to connect with each other. And all of it is just being cleared out by this slop. You know, when I was putting this episode together, I had so much fun putting the first half together because, you know, I was working, I was finding old posts. I was seeing what we were up to. It just so happened that right around the same time that Facebook introduced reactions, we were doing the first show that we all did together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are real things. These are real memories. And it's every bit as rich of a text as any handwritten journal, the way that these real life social interactions were reflected in the social network.
And now it's slop.
It's just slop.
It's stuff that is made by no one, being possibly viewed by no one, but giving the illusion that someone is having a hand in it. Right? It's just garbage put out on a picture. It's grotesque, it's ugly, it's horrible. It draws a lot of attention from accounts that do not appear to be real in any way. They might have humans behind them, but there's always just someone trying to scam whatever stray real human actually gets in there.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I will say. If you are listening to this right now, you are presumably a real human, or so we hope.
Or are you, Dancer?
You presumably have subscribed to the Worst of All Possible Worlds on Patreon, which we appreciate.
Or you stole this episode, and you know what? Good for you for your moxie.
You are a pirate.
Yar.
Please give us $5 at patreon.com/worstofall. No, we really appreciate your ongoing support for stuff like this. And if you're interested, by the way, because again, this episode was a little different from what we often do. If you're interested in hearing more of these kind of deep dives, not just into pieces of media, but like into actual means of communication and stuff like that, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear how this all landed with you. And also, as always, if you're interested in hearing a podcast every month where we just kind of shoot the shit about whatever is on our mind, along with these premium episodes, we also do something called Lads Cast. That's monthly live to tape, and it's available at the $10 a month tier. But no matter what tier you are subscribed to us at, we appreciate you. Thank you for your support.
We appreciate your marks.
Oh, and don't forget about those live show tickets. Link is in the notes.
Oh my God, yeah, the live show. So we've gone over just a lot of slop today, and you know, it can sometimes feel that we as millennials sort of idealize the time before the slop hit the internet.
Speak for yourself. I'm a Zoomer.
Yes, except for Josh, who is very famously a Zoomer. Despite being older than Brian, he is, in fact, the youngest person on this podcast.
That's right, AJ.
And you know, I understand that. I understand that people might look at this as sort of like glowing up a period of time that, you know, obviously had a lot of faults. But I think if you just objectively look at what has become of Facebook, the arc of Facebook from the beginning to, I think now it's pretty much inevitable death, you will see that it has gotten infinitely worse. And the thing that we had, this feeling of camaraderie, this feeling of this social network, has given way to this army of robots screaming at each other. And it can often sometimes feel that you are in a tiny cubicle in this giant office building being screamed at by corporations, longing for the days of hanging out in a treehouse with your friends. I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
And I'm the worst of all possible Joshes. See you next week.